Da da dee da dee da dum bum bum. Bam 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 bam.
Thank you for providing my new intro music that everyone wanted.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. Why else
It
would I be
was the
doing
perfect music.
it? It was the perfect intro. Yeah.
TikTok, time to rock. I forgot to say that. Hey, how's everyone doing out there?
Good.
Has everyone heard of this Andrew Tate guy?
Woohoo.
Andrew Tate, he's a top G. Yeah, it is kind of a who situation because the only time I see him popping up now, the only times he pops up now is for some new court thing or court ruling or some new charges against him, and then I see murdered by crayons and what's the other one? Milk Bar TV. TV. I see them responding to the stuff, and it's cool that we got some guys who are completely relentless on there. But yeah, Tate seems to have not be the big center of attention that he was last year. Interesting. Another little side note here. What's your take on Candace Owens leaving the Daily Wire News? I assume we will be talking about that possibly tomorrow. We got two big things. We've got the Candace Owens thing.
What we can do is actually we could talk about the Candace thing on my channel, since I think I focus more on that stuff, and then we can talk about the ISIS thing on your channel.
What do you mean on Sunday? Yeah, that's possible. That's possible. So yeah, so we got the big story about Candace Owens and some of the stuff she's been doing, and AP of course doesn't like her because she's a woman, and
she's been canned. Now she's Candace.
Canned Owens. So we got that, and then of course a big attack in Moscow, and there was just when there's breaking news of that attack, it's like, gosh, there are times when there's a terrorist attack and you have an idea of who did it, but this is a situation where as soon as I saw it trending, I looked, and you got all these people. It's the Ukrainians. Ukrainians are doing it. They're sick of this, so they launched an attack. And then it was, no. Putin is trying to rally people against the Ukrainians, so he staged this attack. And then there's the CIA. They want to keep things going, so they did it. And then there's the Jews. They want to distract attention from what they're doing in Gaza. And then, of course, there's, hey, could it be jihadis? It is Ramadan. This is a good month for it. And but then, ISIS claimed responsibility.
Yeah, there are some people who are claiming now something like, oh, this is, of course, I don't know, it's the Jews and all kinds of different things. Suddenly ISIS returned. ISIS was never gone. I mean,
Yeah.
we have been following. You probably have been following the issue as well because of Robert Spencer's terrorism reports. But ISIS was never really gone. It was just
they broke up. They broke up into so they don't have their big power and their big territory that was broken, but they splintered into a bunch of
just this year they committed like over 10 terrorist attacks around the world and killed like at least 200 people so far in 2024. So they're definitely not gone. They're very far from gone.
Yeah.
Candace Owens, this morning it was announced that Candace Owens and Daily Wire separated ways. I was very pleased to hear that. I never subscribed to Daily Wire, but as soon as I heard that, I went over to Daily Wire and subscribed to their Daily Wire Plus service, just to contribute to them as a token of appreciation, which they will never be aware of anyway. But of course, lots of people said, "Oh, it's because she spoke against Israel and all that." That's not really why. It's because there was the whole Andrew Tate thing. Then there was months of saying some really, really weird, messed up things about Jews, increasingly getting worse. And then being praised by neo-Nazis like Nick Fuentes. And then she did a thing. She liked a comment on Twitter where somebody directly responds to Rabbi Shmuley, I think, and says, "Are you drunk on Christian blood again?" or something like that. And the Twitter account is a neo-Nazi account, very clearly identifiable, and that went all over the media and social media, and now she's gone.
Pretty creepy. So, yeah, we'll see how things work out for her. But, yeah, it's weird. So, her new thing is, of course, defending Andrew Tate as much as possible and blasting away at rabbis who she's had some problems with, apparently, in the past. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Inshallah.
And that will be covered in much more detail, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow. All right, now we want to get into this video. So everyone knows who Andrew Tate is. No one knows who Mike Winger is unless you're like the biggest Star Trek nerd on the planet. You go to all the conventions, you probably see a guy named Mike Winger there. He's a Christian YouTuber, Mike Winger. So there's Mike Winger, and his fans are the Wingalings. He's basically a walking, talking nerd emoji, and he makes videos. What?
Very nice introduction.
And like all walking nerd emojis, he decides to take on the top G, Andrew Tate. Hey, what's that? Caleb said that God Logic and Hamza's Den just had a 3-hour debate. That's interesting.
What? That must have been a massacre. I have to check that out. Because Hamza is pretty smart. And God Logic is very, very, very not good.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Anyway,
opposite, other way.
Yeah. Anyway, take a couple of super chats here, and then we're going to jump right into this video of Mike Winger blasting away at Andrew Tate. And I just have to warn everyone ahead of time, give a content warning. This is possibly the nerdiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I want to announce that during this conversation, during this live stream, we may be exposed to a sharper tone, heightened tensions, and possible insulting expressions such as "oh my gosh." Therefore, watch this at your own discretion. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah, Mike Winger's like, "Jeepers, this guy's really bad. Oh, I'm sorry I said jeepers and bad. I hope your kids weren't listening." That's how he's like the entire time. It's awesome. Anyway, we're about to see it. Everyone, you're about to see the nerdiest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. It's like, again, like people who spend all their lives at Star Trek conventions are going to watch this and be like, "Oh my goodness, that guy's a nerd." So anyway, but it is fun watching a nerd go after the top G. Let's see. Momo was so cautious about peeing on his clothes and terrified of punishment of the grave, but he's okay being covered in semen. Momo, I choose the semen. That is correct, right?
Yes.
I think I've brought that up before. I can't think of where, but yeah, it's like he's obsessed. Like most of the punishment of the grave is for urinating improperly, but he's totally fine just walking around with semen all over him. Weird stuff. Goat Hub, here at the best site on the web, we can get you a top G anytime. Yeah, top G on Goat Hub is gonna be something different, ladies and gentlemen.
Man, smart.
Have you guys seen Somali TV ex-Muslim channel's new video? It's really horrific. By the way, could everyone, me, please put some respect on Sheiko's name? Sheiko's. Is that...
Respect to Sheiko.
Who's Sheiko? Is that another name for Schneeko, or is that a different guy?
Maybe it's Schneeko. I don't know.
No, I haven't seen the new video on Somali ex-Muslim TV. Capturing kafirs, sending hate from Korea.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
They got your picture on there.
Tom. Oh, it's about a child bride or something.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, we'll check it out. Tom T-Bone is my pattern of conduct. Nice. Tim Tebow. My favorite YouTuber is talking about my other favorite YouTuber. Super ready for the Hebrews series he's about to start. Yeah, that'll be action-packed.
You mean Andrew Tate?
Mike Winger.
I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah,
be
Andrew
starting.
Tate going to be breaking down the book of Hebrews for everybody. Trigger warning. Today we have witnessed the power of the hand of our exalted one, AP. All who breathe air should be in awe and walk in fear of his wrath. May his keyboard have mercy on Candace.
Indeed.
Oh, people are saying Avery cooked him. That's exactly what I would expect to happen. Avery is young, super smart, friendly, aggressive, perfect combination for an apologist. Unlike Mike Winger.
Avery reminds me of chicken.
What?
I don't know. When I say Avery, I think of avian or something like that. And
Aviary. Oh, I
yeah,
get it. Aviary. Okay.
yeah. And then I think of chicken, although it has nothing to do with. Anyway, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it sounded real racist when you said it, but then
I
you're
know.
talking about
I just
specifically
realized.
the name.
I just realized that, so I thought I should maybe explain that that wasn't the intention. But then,
Yeah, AP jumping on there, like, oh, was he eating chicken? Huh? And then you find out, no, it's because the name Avery sounds like aviary or avian or something like that.
yeah,
So it's like some stupid wordplay with you, and you're coming across as like the most racist dude I've ever met in my life.
that's true.
No problem. Candace already has a new job in Andrew Tate's video broadcast. That would be awesome. She has a new job in Andrew Tate's video broadcasting enterprise. Wouldn't it be hilarious if he like hired her to be his spokesperson and run cover for him? That'd be pretty funny.
And live together with all his women.
Yep. And I'm going to be running all my broadcasts defending Andrew Tate from this OnlyFans account. He says, I forgot the joke. Uh-oh. You're not going to make it here if you're forgetting jokes, because we use the same jokes over and over again.
Terrible.
Mike Winger is Mike Winger is the Velma of YouTube apologetics. AP is Scooby-Doo, who has been baptized but won't admit it yet, and D-Wood is Shaggy. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah, these are characters from that show, right? That I never watched in my life. Okay, yeah.
I love when you guys go live. Keep exposing Islam. Yes, indeed we will. All right, we ready to check out some Mike Winger here?
Nope.
Get ready, guys. I'm grinning because I know I'm about to click on it. I know just looking at his face and his stupid bookshelves and stuff, I'm gonna crack up.
Jonathan said chicken isn't racist, it's delicious. I agree with that. I don't know what people...
That's what's funny. It's like, who doesn't like chicken, right?
Yeah.
It's like so dumb. It's like, and like people use watermelon as an insult. Like, who doesn't... I've never met anyone who doesn't like... I don't know. Anyway, people are weird.
I saw this tweet yesterday that was going viral, which said something like, watermelon Twitter is seething right now, and then people are like, wait a minute, wait, who are you talking about? And it's actually talking about the pro-Palestine people.
Yeah the flag.
But it looks really problematic at first.
Yeah, you can't even tell anymore who's being insulted, because the insults they're overlapping now. All right, let's check out some of the... Oh, gosh, get ready for it. I got to psych myself up. All right, here we go. Mike Winger. Look at him.
Andrew Tate.
How am I going to make it through this video, man? Look at his bookshelves. Oh my goodness. I don't even think those bookshelves even match. They look similar, but oh my goodness. And he's got the blue light on him. See how he's got the blue light on him?
Always to believe here.
He's one of these guys who puts some colored light in the background. Oh my goodness. Because that helps. That's like the equivalent of people who have a fog machine in their church. You got to have dude. If your videos aren't interesting enough to not need some light, but some colorful light behind you, you probably got some work to do. Anyway, all right, let's go.
Yeah, that's true.
Him sitting in front of his IKEA bookshelf. These, by the way, made them myself. Went to Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever it was. Grabbed a bunch of lumber, ladies and gentlemen, lumber. Some paint. Grabbed some 12-foot long 2x10s, 6 of them. Made my own shelves, wall to wall. It's how I roll. Where does he go? IKEA. All right.
And don't put lights in your background. It's dorky.
Yeah, it's totally lame, guys. You do not. Anyone who needs lights in the background is just it's sad. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Andrew Tate. If you haven't heard of him, the big question today is simply: is Andrew Tate a good Bible teacher?
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's the big question on everyone's mind, Mike. Is Andrew Tate a good Bible teacher?
I'm curious.
Yeah, he's the top G of he's the top BS, top Bible scholar.
But it's kind of important because Andrew Tate is, and by the way, I got to throw out a parent warning. This part is not for kids, not remotely. Please, if you got young kids watching this, they shouldn't. Not this.
And I mean anyone under the age of 25.
Video, at least not this part of this video. If they want to watch later on, click to question 2 or something like that, but not this part. But Andrew Tate is incredibly popular. The guy's got almost 9 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. And
on X, formerly known as Twitter.
That's very appropriate report. This is what people need. They need some more friendly, nice talking instead of all this mockery and all the hate. See?
Uh-huh. All right.
If I watched Mike Winger every day instead of watching David Wood and AP, I would probably be a nicer person.
It would be a more wholesome world, but that's the point. We've got the world's a rough place. The world's a rough place.
Because we make it rough.
Yeah, we make the world rough, and then this guy's trying to nerd up everything we're doing. All right.
It has a very, very large reach. Reportedly, he's got more Google searches than almost anybody on the planet. And I don't know if that's true or if that's part of a scheme he's done. I mean, because he is a scammer.
That was true. That was true a long time ago. And this video is about a year too late there, Mike.
And schemer. And that is his main thing. That is his number one character quality is manipulator. But is he a good Bible teacher? We're going to look at some specific clips from Andrew Tate, and we're going to ask the question, did he represent Scripture accurately? Let me show you, though, why a lot of people really like Andrew Tate. Here's a short clip of sort of moral Tate, the moral face of Andrew Tate, so you can understand why some people go, hey, I like this guy. He's helped me. He's encouraged me. He's saved me in some ways in my life, because he says things like this.
My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable.
Is that a truth?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy.
Oh, that was Pierce Morgan, right? What did someone compile it and put music to it? So this is, guys, this is after. So this is Andrew Tate going on Pierce Morgan. That's when he decided that he's actually not this pimp figure. He's actually just a guy who's struggling for the youth of the world, and all these young people need someone to stand up for them. And that's after he'd been telling these young guys for years that they can take his PhD course and they too can manipulate women into becoming doing porn for them.
About.
And of course,
I don't want to.
That change happened, of course, not because he had a sudden change of heart, but because he got intel that the law is going to come for him hardcore. And then it started, and then he was like, "Oh no! Everything I said before, I was just joking. It was just a role I was playing. I was just doing this and that, and so I never even said anything wrong. And maybe those are old videos. So where's the proof?"
Yeah, and so the main massive turning point. We didn't see this. This is behind closed doors, right? But the main turning point, which we know happened at some point, we don't know exactly the day, but there was a point when Andrew Tate's lawyer informed him, everything you've bragged about doing for the past 10 years that you didn't know was illegal is illegal. All the stuff you made, all these videos bragging about doing, that's called sex trafficking, and you didn't realize it.
Illegal.
That's what? No, I've never done anything like that. Come on,
I'll walk
Candace.
into the court. I'll give them a bunch of money.
Stand up for me, Candace.
Seen as a negative influence in the world. I know that there's a whole bunch of men. I get thousands of emails a week from men whose lives I've saved.
He gets thousands of emails per week from
I get thousands of emails
men's lives.
now.
Yeah, I get billions. I get billions of messages per second from all the people who were literally seconds away from dying, and then they watch one of my videos, and then they change their mind. They send me messages. David, you saved me. You saved me at the last second there.
Can you imagine if he actually got thousands of emails a week of people who get in touch with him and then change? He wouldn't be able to do anything in his life. He would. He wouldn't even go to sleep.
Yeah, Andrew, you changed my life. Now I can pimp out my sister. It's so great. What a winner.
Thousands of emails a week from men who are on the verge of suicide and I've saved their lives.
I saved their lives.
I believe in protecting and providing. I've been misunderstood. I don't want anybody to be offended by anything I say. I want to be a positive force in the world.
What are you laughing at?
He wants to be a positive force.
Women are stupid. Women are stupid. Women are stupid. I don't want anyone to be offended by anything I ever say. Everyone's a loser except me. I'm the greatest of all time. Blah, blah, blah.
So he changed to just quote him directly. I have to necessarily censor him when I quote him directly. But to quote him directly, he went from women are stupid as if you have to manipulate them. You have to make them obedient. You have to spank them, and then you have to F them to make them work for you. And then take all the money. Be a pimp, be big, and all that. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want anybody to be offended by anything I say. And I'm not even doing anything wrong. All I want is for men and for people in general to be inspired, to be better people. That switch happened like within a few days when he realized, wait a minute. I've been bragging about all of this stuff. Apparently that's all criminal. I'll be locked up for a long time. Maybe it's time to change.
And that's what's amazing, because I was locked up for a nice little bit of time there, and anyone who spent years bragging about committing his crimes and got locked up for it would be regarded as a complete idiot. Like, you moron. What are you, stupid? And that's exactly what Andrew Tate did. And he's the top G. He's the top G. He's the super criminal mastermind behind everything, and spent years making videos about all the crimes he was committing. Guys, I mean, think about this. Some people do that. Like, there have been situations where someone robs something and then they post it on Facebook or something. We all say, wow, this guy, that's the dumbest guy in the world. That's what Tate did over and over and over and over again. But he's the top G, the top G.
I don't want anybody to hear what I say and make them feel bad about themselves. I want all people to live righteous and good, whether they're male or female. I think righteous is living true to your heart and knowing that you're doing good by people, not snaking anybody, not lying to anybody.
I'm basically Gandhi. I'm basically Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Jesus and everyone else just rolled up into one big ball. That's me. That's what I am. That's what I am, Pierce.
Very righteous life.
You should know all these people that we mentioned, Gandhi and all the others. They also had, behind the scenes, they had businesses where they employed women and put them on camera and made them get naked and have sex with different people, and also made their money in different ways and also beat those people. But they were also at the same time very inspirational people. What's the problem?
Yep.
Yeah.
Young men aspire to work very hard, have no criminal record, become multimillionaires.
No criminal record? You're kind of screwing that one up, Andrew.
Protect and provide for the women close to them, be sovereign so they can stand up and have their own points of view in face of cancellation, be able to not be mentally intimidated when they go on national TV and there's traps set up for them. Yeah, I believe that confident, strong men who stand up and protect and provide for women are a good thing for the world and a good force for the world.
Hey, that was actually smart, though, by the way. He said, and could stand up for themselves when there's a trap set up for them. That's a dig at Pierce, because he always accuses his interviewers if they challenge him on anything. Oh, so you set up a trap. You set up a trap for me.
I don't think that I put a magic spell on anybody. I think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value. And if men grow up to be like me, you're going to have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes.
No, you'll have a bunch of sex traffickers who are stupid and brag about it and run their mouths about it and try to train others to do the exact same thing and then eventually get exposed and then try to lie about it. That's what you'd have if everyone was like you.
Who protect and provide for the people close to them.
Sounds a lot of it sounds good. A lot of that sounds pretty good and solid. And you're like, wow, yeah. Like he also encourages. A lot of guys would say Andrew Tate is the guy that got me out of my rut. That scores of men who rightly feel marginalized and erased by modern society. In some ways rightly, in some ways wrongly. Some ways they're just being lazy or whatever. but in some ways they feel like they've been erased by modern society. They look to him as a guide. And he teaches responsibility. He teaches manliness, ambition, which is a two-edged sword. But no ambition.
Have you ever seen photos of people who join Andrew Tate's war room, or go to his meetings and things like that? Who spend like a bunch of money and go there and go like, yeah, oh, I'm here to become a better man, like Andrew Tate, like the top G. So many photos of those people just. I don't want to judge people for the way they live and all that, but they're not really improving.
No,
They're not really improving, not
No.
at all. And there are some people who were already, tough or successful or whatever it is before, and they join to kind of expand and to join in on the exploitation and all of that, but. From what I have seen, I haven't seen people who actually went there and were like, "Oh yeah, now I'm a much better person, and I'm tough and I'm strong and I'm successful. I'm rich now because of Andrew Tate."
Yeah, you don't see a lot of you don't see a lot of like just someone who's like a total dork and then starts following Andrew Tate and all of a sudden he becomes a top G. Remember Aiden was trying that. Remember Aiden, the Andrew Tate crotch sniffer? Andrew Tate got up and walked away and Aiden walked over and started sniffing he's already a popular, I don't know what he's on, but he's popular on social media. And he goes up and he smells where Tate's nutsack was just a couple seconds earlier. But then he like shaved his head and started calling everything haram, was imitating Andrew Tate. And apparently he kind of went back to his old self. Shocker. And, and then he's the one who, at least the story goes that him blabbing it, that he got a message from Tate saying they were going to escape Romania is what actually got Tate in trouble. I don't know any official confirmation of that. Oh no, I did see it in a lawyer's letter saying that they informed the British government and so on. I don't know if that's why he actually got rearrested recently, but
he also talked about it. Aiden Ross talked about it. He said he's very sorry for how he messed up. And he called Andrew to directly apologize for how he messed up. And they said, "Oh, it's okay. You're all right. When you come here to Romania, we can hang out together and stuff like that." So, according to Aiden Ross, it was his fault.
Yep. Pretty dopies. No, my joke, sorry, which I was thinking. Wait, you were confused by your own joke, just some guy, and then you super chatted it?
Yeah.
Carlos says, who cares about Mike Winger? What about the Russia? Yeah, we said that at the beginning. We're going to cover that later. Guys, it just happened. If we start talking about it now, there will inevitably be a bunch of information that comes out tomorrow that goes against any information now. That always happens. It's a chaotic situation. Everyone's saying a bunch of things. Group is claiming responsibility. That information is going to change by tomorrow. So
yeah, we shouldn't be rushing.
We're not going to rush into this.
Yeah, we shouldn't be rushing into this because
we don't rush into this stuff.
Yeah, also stuff.
We don't like rushing. We don't like rushing.
Yeah, we don't like rushing. Yeah.
So that situation, we don't know what to expect, and therefore we're going to wait. Mike Winger, we know exactly what to expect, so we can talk about Mike Winger.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I have a question about Islamic paradise. I always hear about the virgin brides, but what is paradise for a woman? Are they the brides? Yeah, so the standard view here, Chris, is a Muslim man goes to paradise. He gets his wives from this world are still his wives, but he gets these specially designed sex machines. There are even passages that say he gets Jewish and Christian women he gets to take those as well as his eternal sex slaves. But yeah, there are passages about the women just saying they stand in corners waiting for the man to call on them.
Nice.
And I've seen some memes that make fun of this, and the woman's like, I spent all my life trying to get here just to watch my husband banging all these girls. That's what I do now.
That would be perfect for Sneeko if Sneeko was a woman.
Yeah. What's wrong with you, man? Sneeko will be like, yeah, I have a request. Can you make me a woman? And then I could be just watching. What's wrong with you, man? Ezra be like, I've got more Jewish followers than Winger has cool followers, suckers. Yeah. Ezra's got a lot of followers. Let's see. The Dreamer. When will we see a live stream about CJ Werleman? Probably never, since I have no idea who that is. He's the biggest non-Muslim dawah-gandist. He's a non-Muslim dawah-gandist, and he predicted Rogan will convert to Islam. What say you?
He's a nut job who allegedly in the past was very anti-Islam when he was a nobody, and then he traveled to different Muslim countries and made a turn at some point and is in constant contact with certain governments like Qatar, and is now always pushing pro-Muslim, pro-Islam talking points and attacking different religious groups. And but he himself is not a Muslim. He doesn't convert to Islam, despite being asked a lot. And a lot of people, of course, suspect that he works together with certain organizations that he makes shout-outs for, and that frequently pay different influencers to propagate for them.
Nice.
But yeah, he's one of those people, and he's also an idiot. So, but if he says Joe Rogan will convert to Islam, then Joe Rogan probably will convert to Islam, at least in his imagination.
Got to. Yeah, I have to say, I'm looking at the. I mean, anything can happen. Anyone can be basically hanging out with someone who fills their head with nonsense and so on. The pattern of the recent like famous person converts, it's been a pretty similar pattern. It's been they get caught for some messed up stuff. This really screws up their reputation. They end up getting banned from some of the platforms that they're popular on, and then they convert to Islam. And it just seems to be a way of getting a band of aggressive, instant followers who are going to defend you no matter what, because they view you as support for their religion. But that's exactly what you saw with Andrew Tate. Then you saw it with Sneeko. You saw it with Sean King. We still haven't done a show on this, but Will Smith. You're the one who mentioned that Will Smith was saying, now I'm reading the Quran. It's really awesome and stuff. But I mean, look at the pattern right there, right? He was super famous, and now everyone can't stand him because he slapped Chris Rock and was not exactly the top G of his relationship with his wife. Let's go ahead and say that. And all of a sudden, Islam starts looking good. But the point is, Joe Rogan isn't exactly in that situation. He's not the guy who, I'm getting banned for everything. Everyone doesn't like me anymore, and so let me be a victim now.
So I looked a little bit into the Will Smith story, and apparently he read the Quran last year, and it's not a new thing. And he also read the Bible in different forms, and he basically expands later on how he has these good impressions about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. He just happens to talk about Islam because he's on a Muslim's show. That's what it looks like. So it looks like the Muslim media kind of blew it out of proportion.
Because I've been getting comments like that. David, what are you going to say when Will Smith converts? How are you going to deny that? It's just amazing that they think that this would be some evidence for me. Like, man, here I've been going through Islam's most trusted sources for all these years, finding that every single argument every dawah clown uses is complete deception. But, man, that guy who slapped Chris Rock, he converted? Now I have to convert too. I mean, he was the Fresh Prince, man. He was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's saying parents just don't understand in summertime. What? How could I not be on board with that?
I just remember Eminem making fun of Will Smith a lot in the past.
Oh yeah, I remember
Be some
that.
good
He
memes
had that
on
at the beginning. He had that when he they set some woman's house on fire in the video. And then, and then the fire department shows up and the reporters show up and they're like, "What were you doing, sir?" And he's like, "Well, I was just up in my room listening to my Will Smith CD when I heard." It's like, but that's what he uses as
that is in the
as
in
an
the
alibi.
in the clip of that Dr. Dre song. Yeah, whatever that was called.
Yeah, that's funny though. Hey, imagine though, like, so that's Eminem. He just randomly picks Will Smith and always makes fun of him. Can you imagine just randomly picking a guy and just constantly making fun of him? Like just random unprovoked attack, making fun of some guy for being like too dorky.
Imagine that.
Just being too dorky and stuff. Anyway, that would be funny. Anyway, back to Mike Winger here.
Kind at all is bad. You just don't want to have carnal, selfish ambitions. You want to have ambitions to seek first God's kingdom, to be a good member of society, and those types of things. He's also teaches realism, and he's totally unashamed of his views, which honestly, a lot of people find that attractive, even if they find it annoying. People who are just unashamed of their views. He tells people to do hard things. Okay, you should be doing hard things. Do hard stuff. Go work out. Go get really good at something. That kind of thing, which is just generally good advice to people. Don't waste your life and then complain about it like a passive victim. That's actually good advice, I think, a large part of it.
I have to disagree here because he tells people to go do hard things, but he explicitly tells people not to read books, which is, in my opinion, harder than doing some hard work. So I must disagree with him on the nature of this very, very point here.
Well, who am I going to believe? You or the walking nerd emoji?
You're supposed to say, who are you going to believe? An atheist or a Christian?
Are you going to believe an atheist or a Christian? Yeah, we need to start using that at all times. Here's what's amazing is the dawah guys, I've said this 1,000 times, and I'm dead serious about this, guys. I spent years in prison around people who have every kind of con game you can imagine. I've never encountered people who lie so frequently, so easily, with as little concern for being caught. If you got a guy who's like a good liar, he's good at also covering up his lies. The dawah guys, they just lie. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They know their fans will mindlessly agree with anything they're saying, and they just don't care who's gonna refute it. They don't care how easy it is. They don't care if it only takes 2 seconds to completely expose the lie. It's just keep lying, keep lying, keep lying. So for that guy to say, and guys, if you're tuning in and you didn't follow, we recently went through a discussion with Sneeko where the guy jumps in. When Sneeko is corrected on something, the guy jumps in and he says, "Well, who are you going to believe, a Christian or a Muslim?" And it's like, dude, if I had no reason to think that what you, dawah guy, are saying is, in other words, if you were saying something and I was completely ignorant of the topic, I would not trust you just because you're a dawah guy and all I know from you is that you lie all the time. It's just hilarious that, you got to watch out for these Christians. What did Chris say that was not completely accurate? Nothing. What did the dawah guy say? Everything he said was completely wrong. But you're supposed to trust him because he's a dawah guy, which for me is like, that's a sure sign that you're a liar.
What do you mean? He said Islam is wrong. That's a lie. That's not true.
Got to be. Who are you going to believe? Who are you going to believe?
But he also really forgets.
What's that?
No, I was just thinking, within the context of from Sneeko's perspective, Ali Dawas will be watching has a completely different meaning.
What's wrong with you? That's what you wanted to put in this conversation here. Hey, you know what's funny? Someone just said because someone's over there saying they would trust the Christian, hands down. But that would be funny. We'll get some Hindus. We'll get a couple of Hindus. We'll get a couple of Jews, a couple of atheists, a couple of agnostics, maybe a Buddhist in there. And we'll show them the clip of Chris and Sneeko and that other Dawah dude. And then we'll get to the part where the guy goes, who are you going to trust? A Christian or a Muslim? And we'll just ask everyone, guys, who are you going to trust? The Christian in this discussion or the Muslim?
Mm-hmm.
And I suspect we would get 100% agreement on who to trust in that situation.
Yes.
The Muslim.
Most definitely.
My language here. He also really sucks. Andrew Tate. Really
He just said, pardon my language. Wait,
why would you say that?
Wait, let's see what he says here.
just unashamed of their views. He tells people to do hard things.
Okay.
Okay, you should be doing hard things. Do hard stuff. Go work
language,
out. Go,
language warning.
Go get
language
really
warning,
good at
everyone.
something. That kind of thing, which is just generally good advice to people. Don't waste your life and then complain about it like a passive victim. That's actually good
cover
advice,
your kids'
I think, a large part of it. But he also really, forgive my language here, he also really sucks. Andrew Tate really sucks. And I actually ran a poll on X, and I asked the question.
That was too much language.
He didn't give enough of a language warning, and he said it sucks.
Why didn't he beep it out?
Yeah, just imagine you come on this channel and you're under 30 years old and you hear this kind of harsh language from a Christian.
Under 30.
Wait, what is this poll? Christians, is it permissible for us to be taught by Andrew Tate? I'll be talking about him this Friday during the week. I'm a year too late. Yes. 12% said yes. And 78% said no.
And of course, 78% are wrong.
They're all wrong.
Hey, Christians who happen to follow me or see this poll, is it permissible for us to be taught by Andrew Tate? Now, some people don't know him, or they're not a Christian. Let's just say the vast majority of Christians were like, no, it is not okay. I would wager a lot of the 12% there that voted that it was okay a lot of them probably thought taught means, can I learn something from that guy? Like when you watch a video of somebody who gets hurt doing something dumb and you go, I can learn from that, which doesn't really mean anything. But why do they feel this way? Well, here's a quote of him explaining how the Bible supports his view that women are the property of their husbands. And we're going to ask, is Andrew Tate a good Bible teacher?
Do you?
Okay, so look at who is this dude? Hey, this dude's copying your mustache, man. Who is this guy here?
I don't know.
All right. All right, so this is Andrew Tate. He's going to be giving some powerful Bible lesson here, everyone. Here we go. And we got Mike Winger cracks me up.
Think that women are property?
Sure. So I think my sister is her husband's property, yes. When a bride is walking down the aisle to marry the groom, the father walks next to her and gives her away. True or false?
That is something that happens, yes.
So you're giving her away, correct?
Yes.
Does that not sound, at least in some way, semi-related to property at some degree?
Some form of ownership, yes.
Form of ownership. Does the Bible say the woman owns the husband owns the woman?
I believe it does.
Does the Quran
Yes.
say that the man owns the woman?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he's got three arguments.
What are you laughing at, man? He gave his powerful, well-informed arguments because Tate is super smart, man.
This is so stupid. Wow.
Bible teacher, world-renowned Bible scholar, Andrew Tate, top G.
Wow.
There for the idea that a woman is the property of her husband. And this is something that I think most Christians would rightly be like, that's not right. But he offers three arguments. The first one is the giving away of the bride. The giving away of the bride. I've performed weddings. I've been in my own wedding, but I've been in many other weddings, and I've done weddings, a number of them. The giving away of the bride is usually, we typically, at least in the weddings I've done, it's usually the father says, I ask, as the pastor, I would have asked, who gives away this bride? And then the dad who's standing there with his daughter says, her mother and I do. And that was the line, because you had to get the dad to remember the one line, and he'd forget it all the time. So all the way leading up to the wedding, every time I saw the dad, I'd be like, what's your line? Her mother and I do. What's your line? Her mother and I do. Because otherwise they'd get nervous.
And he would forget his line, and I would go, shucks. Oh, I'm sorry for my language, sir.
But yeah, it's actually both of them. So then you would have to think that she's also the property of the mother, that would be, anyway, that's typically how we would do the weddings. At any rate, it's a family endorsement. This is where the Bible says that the wife leaves her, or the husband rather, leaves his mother and father and is joined to his wife. So he's leaving them and joined to her. You're leaving one family and starting a new family.
When are you going to remove the super chat from the screen?
Oh, what? There, you happy?
Yes. No, finally.
So the family you come from is endorsing that by doing the giving away of the bride. It's not a property thing. There's no ownership that's being instilled there, and people don't generally think of it that way. To say that is just playing games with words. I won't give it a lot more time. Let's talk about the Bible question. He goes, doesn't the Bible say?
This is the issue with Andrew Tate, though. It's like appeals to such a shallow, stupid way of thinking, and that's what I noticed when I first saw Andrew Tate pop up. Like I was scrolling through social media, and I saw videos of this guy pop up one after the other, and it's just him saying things like that, like, oh, yeah, so doesn't this happen? This happen? Well, that means this and this and this. Like totally disconnected, nonsensical logic. Where after 2 words, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. But I guess the average Andrew Tate viewer who gets sucked into it is like, wow, smartest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Who is this person? Must be bigger than God himself. So,
and it's a similar vibe to dawah in that you're looking for an atmosphere of ignorance, because that's who this is going to appeal to. Anyone who, if he were being interviewed by anyone who had any clue what he was talking about, they would have jumped in there and said, "Whoa, what do you? Tell me what passage you're thinking about right there. Tell me what passage you're thinking about for anything he's talking about." But he gets these guys who don't know anything, and he says it, and he sounds confident, and so they think this guy knows what he's talking about, so I'll just agree with him. But that's the same thing in dawah. You get a dawah guy, and he's like, "Oh, yes, you know about the perfect preservation of the Quran, right?" You go, "Oh, yeah, really? Is it really right?" He sounds really confident. My goodness, man. Guys, be hard targets.
That the wife is the property of the husband, and then the interviewer's like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Because he doesn't know the Bible. He doesn't really know Christianity. He's just like, sure, why not? Why not say that that's exactly what it says? Here, let me increase my lighting here. And where in the Bible does it say that, Andrew Tate? You don't know. You don't read the Bible. You don't have a clue. I mean, I've watched enough of Andrew Tate to know this. I'm not just...
I've seen him carry a Quran, though, so that's pretty good. And I saw him posing for a picture reading the Quran, but he had the Quran resting right on his balls. So
yeah, it looked like he was using his genital area as a thing, standard for the Quran.
Yeah, Nabil had one of those little Quran stands. But yeah, Andrew Tate was using his balls as his Quran stand.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Speaking out of turn here, the man really doesn't know scripture. If I asked him to locate the book of Hosea, he wouldn't know whether to start in the Old or New Testament. So he doesn't know this stuff. The Bible does say...
Did you say it sounds Spanish?
I said I don't read Spanish.
Jose, what? Doesn't even make any sense. Jose, why would Jose be in the Bible? Oh, man.
A few things though that I would say push back on this view that a husband is the owner of his wife, or that she is his property in any real legitimate sense. So there's script. Now I'm complementarian. I do think that there's such thing as male headship. Scripture says this very clearly. 1 Corinthians 11, Ephesians 5. We have teaching about male headship. Husbands that wives are to yield to their husbands. That does this make them property though? Does this mean they have no authority in the relationship? No, that's absolutely not true. And I've got lots of teaching on that. I won't go over it all today, but I'll say a few things. So when the man and woman are joined together, they become one flesh. That's Genesis. We're talking old school Bible stuff here. They become one flesh. That is not the language of property. That's the language of a shared identity, but it's not property. You don't become one flesh with your cup of water. You know, there's nothing you are that's your property that you become one with.
Wrong. I own my goat. It's just in from the dawah guys.
That's not the language. In 1 Corinthians 7, we have this really interesting idea. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 4, and we're going to get a lot more of Andrew Tate today. I want to just honestly, because there's a lot of Christians.
Yay! More Andrew Tate. Woohoo.
This dude is like on Family Matters if Urkel went into his transformation machine and transformed into a white dude and became a Bible guy.
Follow me who actually are aware of him, and maybe you're gleaning from his videos and think I can get some good stuff out of that. I do want you to understand that he's a dangerous false teacher in regards to the Bible, but more importantly, or I should say more importantly because that's super important, but more relevant to most of what he says is he's just a total scam artist who's playing you.
That's true.
Like he's playing you with all of his content. It's all a game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the
Thank
key
you.
feature. AP, since people are still bringing up Candace in there, what do you think?
Ending.
Do you think she's a scam artist? We agree on Andrew Tate. We agree on a lot of the guys. What do you think? Scam artist, or do you just believe she's wrong on some things?
I think that there is a mix of different motives when it comes to Candace. One of them is the grifting, but the other is also that she's trying to appeal to certain people and pander, and thereby chooses a path. And she's also very ignorant, to be honest. She's also extremely ignorant. She doesn't know much. I mean, she's the one. I shared a video earlier today, and it kind of blew up of her back a few months ago, claiming that, saying, "Wow, and when I was walking through Jerusalem, and I was told there's the Muslim quarter, and that doesn't sound like a bastion of freedom because that's where Muslims are allowed to live." And everyone knows that's not why it's called a Muslim quarter. It's not that all Muslims are only allowed to live there. That's not the case at all. But that's what she thought, because she heard a Muslim quarter and she thought, wait, there's a Muslim quarter? That means only Muslims are only allowed to live there and nowhere else?
It's behind.
That's so racist.
They're trapped behind an invisible wall. They're stuck there.
She's ignorant. She talks about things she knows nothing about. She embarrasses herself so much on these things. She panders to certain people. She hates herself, and there's also a grift to it. I don't know.
Some degree of grift, but not an actual full-on grifter.
Yeah, I think if she was a complete grifter with no values and no standards at all, she would be going different ways. She would just, I don't know.
Yeah. So guys, so guys, what we're talking about is like Andrew Tate is just a total grifter. Everything he does is a scam in one form or another. Yes. Same thing with Sean King. Everything the guy does is a scam in one form or another. And we're in a situation right now in the world where people are splintering into various groups and are all concerned about being attacked. Their ideas are being attacked. And that is a situation where grifters enter into the situation and say, I'll be your hero. Here's what you have to do for me to be your hero. And so everyone has to be on guard. And one of the things you have to do is find out who's a grifter and who's sincere. Someone who's wrong can still be sincere, but they're not evil in the sense that they're not just trying to scam you. So you have to kind of figure out what sort of people you're dealing with. Couple super chats here.
She also recently on Bill Maher, she said that she thinks the moon landing was fake and never happened. And the thing is, her reasoning it's not the most unpopular conspiracy theory, right? But her reasoning, I think, I don't want to misremember it, but I think her reasoning was something like, why did they only go once and never again?
They didn't.
Which is
they
just
went multiple times.
Anyway.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Now there is the issue of, hey, why'd we go several times and then just stop going? But that's not, oh, that means they never went. That would be stupid reasoning.
Yeah.
Imagine being Mike Winger. Oh, wait. So we got different emojis. Imagine being Mike Winger, cracking up. Mike Winger. And then crying, imagine being Mike Winger. And then angry, imagine being Mike Winger. Those are all the different reactions there. Thank you for standing with Israel. Please do an episode on Amin al-Husseini, the father of the Palestinian nationalism movement. Yeah, that would be a good, like, I don't mean just live stream. We could always do a live stream on it, but just like a concise, 10-minute video or something like that, going through with pictures of him and so on, and some of his ideas and some of the things, because that actually really helps why the situation that Britain was in and deciding, hey, what are we going to do here? And it makes a pretty strong case for why Jews needed some place where they were not under the control of Muslims. Daniel Apologetics, how plausible do you guys think Mike Winger has severed heads in the freezer and a nuclear bomb in the basement? I'm personally leaning towards 93% sure. The nuclear bomb, no, because if he had it, he would use it. He's completely psycho. Severed heads, yeah, it's just speculative. It's just, you see a guy who calls his fans wingalings. And you're like, who would do that to his own fans? It sounds like dingalings. And this is how he treats his own fans. And so how's this guy not a complete psychopath? And if he's a psychopath, he probably has some severed heads.
There is a good case. There's some evidence.
Yeah, either in his basement or garage, we don't know, but probably severed heads somewhere.
Yeah.
What do you think about the terrorist attack happening in Moscow? Concert right now. I read Sky News Islamic State.
Excuse me, what terrorist attack? Haven't we learned just a few months ago in October that you don't call it a terrorist attack? It's called a
ceasefire, Russia. Ceasefire, Russia.
It's called resistance. Freedom fighters, resistance. And the first thing you should be worried about right now is Islamophobia in response to this.
That is one thing. And guys, and this is why we're going to have to, so maybe you weren't here earlier. We said we're going to kind of hold off on this a little bit because more news is going to be coming in. So we want more details before we discuss it. Yeah, ISIS has claimed responsibility. I'd say dumb move on their part. I mean, it's basically for all the groups that want to keep attention on Israel and blasting away at Israel. It's not a good time to launch a big terrorist attack. It's just not. It's the wrong time. But it's Ramadan, and it wouldn't be Ramadan without the bombathon, so you're going to get some of these attacks. But yeah, we'll be talking about that sometime later once we got some more stuff, more info. So what's the whole deal with Mike? What did he say or do? Don't get me started. I've been through it a million times. His nerd face, his nerd glasses, his nerd shirt. Look at his shirt. Look at the strings on his shirt. He can't even get them even. He's got this guitar in the background. What is that, a globe? That replaced, what was it earlier? He had like a jar of gummy bears there. And his nerd books and his nerd blue light on his nerd books and his nerd IKEA shelves. And he's just an all-around nerd. So I don't understand what's confusing about any of this.
And then he sits there wearing a neck pillow.
Yeah. In case I need to take a nap. In case I fall asleep from the sound of my own voice while I'm speaking. I put myself to sleep. He's such a nerd in his videos. He puts himself to sleep. But no, I heartily recommend his videos for anyone who has insomnia. That will put you right to sleep.
Yeah.
It's a magic pill. And the bookshelf light turns red when he goes serious mode. That would be funny. He needs something like that, right? Because his face is always the same. And so it would be funny if like he had to let people know what his mood is by the light behind him.
Yeah.
Oh, we got apostate boohoo here. David.
Oh, no.
What if jocks turn on the stream and see Mike Winger? They might leave and give him a wedgie.
Be more considerate.
Be more considerate. That is an important point.
That is true.
Mike has a nerd shirt. Why did D Wood send him that? Yeah, I didn't actually send it to him. He just had that. He just had a nerd shirt. And guys, I don't know what else I don't know what else to say. The man literally has a nerd shirt that he wears that is announcing that he's a nerd. So he's a nerd, and he's proud of that. And that brings us to this next super chat here. Dreamcast said, Mike Winger slander is hilarious, and we're proud of that. Yeah, he's a nerd, and he's proud of that. He wears it on his shirt like a shirt. All right, back to
it's a good point.
Back to White Urkel here.
Get him more money and attention and all that stuff. So I'd like to expose that for your sakes, because I think it's something people aren't realizing in some cases. So 1 Corinthians 7:4, the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does.
You see?
That's the verse people quote. Oh, see? Property.
See?
Well, if that means property, what does the next part of the verse mean? And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. There's a shared sense of authority that they have over each other's bodies. This is in relation, and you don't want to expand this to every aspect of life, because that's not what Paul's talking about. We don't want to do what's called eisegesis, or taking the Bible out of context. But in this verse, the wife has sexual claims, like, sexual fidelity claims over her husband, and he has those same claims over his wife, meaning, of course, that he can't cheat on her. He can't go and be a polygamist.
Yeah. Point here for anyone who's tuning in late, this does not line up with what Andrew Tate is saying when he claims that the Bible supports his view of him going around being polygamous and banging as many women as possible, and any of his women are his property. Mike Winger, whatever other faults he has, he's making an important point about Tate just being wrong about the Bible supporting.
That's not a biblical.
How can you say that a woman has a right or something over a man?
Yeah, what's a right? What's a right?
Ooh.
We'll talk about that in a second, what Andrew Tate says about polygamy in the Bible. And yeah, so this verse right here shows that he doesn't just treat her as property. She has a very high degree of authority in the life of her husband. He just has a higher degree, which is where the Bible comes in and talks about headship and a wife submit to your husband. But she's not an authorityless submitter. She's one with very high authority who yields to her husband, who has a degree higher authority based on Scripture. So it's not what the feminists want, and it's not what Andrew Tate wants. It's going to be biblical. That's the view that we're looking for here. Is there headship? Yes. Like I said, Ephesians 5, 1 Corinthians 11, other passages. Is there leadership in the husband? Yes. But the wife is a co-leader under his leadership. She's not a non-leader. That's the difference, right? She has authority in the home. She has authority over her children. She has authority in relation to sexual fidelity with her husband. And those are important things. She's a co-heir with Christ. There's no male or female as regards to her salvation. All those things.
What are you shaking your head at?
But if this guy is, if I'm supposed to believe this guy, then where are his muscles, and where is his Bugatti, and where is his money, and his
That's
cars?
point. That would be funny if like someone watched us and they were just like, "What color's your Bugatti, Mike?"
Yeah. How much money? How many bodies?
And
Why are there no naked women dancing in the background?
And if you did have a Bugatti, we know you'd have one of those custom license plates that says "nerd" on it.
How many boats do you have?
Now, the weird thing here, though, is before we move on, the host affirms this. The host is like, yeah, sure. Yeah, the Bible says that. Why not? There's large-scale ignorance about the Bible. This is why I want to equip you guys with these answers and with these specific verses and talking points, you might say, so that you can go out and go, actually, right? And show people that the Bible is better than they think. And they should not simply...
Actually... Continue. Yeah.
Should aside as outdated, abusive masochism, right? That's not what we're looking for. Or misogyny. That's the term I was looking for. I don't know why I mixed those up.
It's such a funny word, misogyny. I don't know how I mix those up.
The third thing they said, Andrew Tate said, was the Quran. Doesn't the Quran support that the husband owns the wife? And I just want to say, Muslims, you're on your own. I don't know if the Quran teaches that. I haven't seen that in the Quran, but I also don't know that it doesn't teach that, and I haven't studied it enough to, and I don't really have any desire to defend Islam. Islam is a religion where Muhammad said he looked out, he had a vision where he saw hell, and he looked and he saw that it was mostly populated by women. So,
Oh, you find that funny? You find that funny? You find people burning in hell funny, Mike? Yeah, he's like, it's just a see, this is, you look for these little tells, ladies and gentlemen. You can spot a psychopath, right? Like there'll be blood spatter from some attack or something like this, and you'll see the psychopath, like his eyes will light up, right? Like he just did when he thought about women burning in hell.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine you're a woman and you join this live stream and you see this video and you hear him literally laughing about women burning in hell? Imagine the trauma that it causes. It will immediately turn you off, and you will never again want to look into these videos, and you will go back to doing nothing, and then you will just slowly die in a very sad state. This is why this is the dark side of apologetics, and we should be more wary about these things.
Yeah, we need a video just like that. The dark side of Mike Winger.
Yeah.
And the Winglings.
But that's not Christianity, man. You do your own thing. So Andrew Tate.
By the way, what would you being completely honest, what would you say? What would you think about whether the Quran is saying that men own women? I mean, you've got passages like saying your wives are your tilth, plow your tilth however you want. You have stuff like that. But even then, I wouldn't say, women can get divorced and things like that. So I don't.
Yeah. I would say there's a saying that goes very far back. It goes hippity hoppity, you are my property, and because it rhymes, I would say it pretty much describes the situation quite accurately. But however, if we want to look more at the Quran and from the Quranic perspective, I would say while some people might describe it as possession or owning women or something like that, and I see what they mean. If we look at it and stay very, very accurate and very fair, it doesn't it wouldn't describe men as owning women. What it does describe is that men are in charge of women and are those who discipline the women and keep them in check.
That's a direct quote from Surah 4, verse 34.
Yeah. And beat them if they fear arrogance, if they don't behave, if they don't obey, and so on. Plus, there is also the hadith that Allah gave the women to men, and the men are supposed to temporarily take care of them. So the men don't own the women; they're just in charge of the women and are supposed to treat them accordingly. It's like a temporary arrangement. But then they will be, once you die together, married to a woman, she will be your eternal wife, and she will sit there in the corner and watch while you're also enjoying all your other wives and all your other women. So,
yes. Indeed.
Allah, what a beautiful religion.
Since there's virtually no reason to believe in Islam, why do you think some Muslims are so attached to it? I know the spiritual answer, but anything else?
Yes.
So the arguments have collapsed, and guys, I'm serious here. You'll still find people using the arguments, but their main arguments have collapsed. Like the dawah guys, I don't even see them using them anymore. I actually right now have no clue. If you were to sit down with like an Ali Dawah or something like that, or Muhammad Hijab, and say, what is your evidence for Islam? I actually have no clue what they would say anymore, because all the arguments that the Dawah guys were using 10 years ago have the Dawah guys now admit were completely bogus. So I have no idea what their arguments would be. You look at Ali Dawah and what's he been saying recently? Oh, it's our intolerance that's going to draw people to Islam. Yeah. So it's not even, hey, we've got this great argument that proves our position is true. It's, people going to see how intolerant we are, and then they're going to want to come because they're sick of everything, right? So the question is, so why would someone like Ali Dawah, who admits that he was tricked into Islam, he admits this. He says he came to Islam because of the scientific miracles, which he now agrees were bogus. So he was duped into converting. And so it's like he's a particular example of this big thing. Hey, we trick you into getting in, but then you stay. So why are you actually staying? And I don't know. It just seems like they're very quick once you have converted to get you embedded in the system. If you're a woman, they're going to make sure you get married off real quick and start having kids and so on, so that it becomes too big a part of your life to leave. Right. So in other words, if you start doubting that Islam is true, but you've already married a Muslim husband and you've got 3 kids and so on, and your entire life is a part of Islam now, saying, okay, actually, I've just learned some more stuff. Muhammad's a false prophet. Some people will just go ahead and leave it and say, okay, I can't follow this. It's false. But Islam specializes in putting massive amounts of psychological pressure on people to remain in Islam once they've converted. So
Yeah, I would say there's also the other factor, which is, as you know, Ali Dawah, for example, is a very not very intelligent person, and he also happens to be the most popular Muslim YouTuber, which means that there's a very, very large average population that follows him, and that is probably about as intelligent as he is, and that might be just one of the reasons why people follow Islam. And then there's also, of course, the whole community aspect and the fear, and the harsh indoctrination, and the if you leave Islam, you will have betrayed all of us attitude, and so on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. It takes a really strong man to say, you know what, this may upset a lot of people, but I'm out of this religion. A real strong man.
Real men leave Islam. Yep.
Dude, you should make a t-shirt that says that. Real men leave Islam.
That's a good idea.
That'd be an awesome t-shirt, man. Since they're the ones going around, real men bang 4 wives and stuff like that.
That's a good idea.
It's a totally good idea. It's the perfect idea.
It is the perfect move.
Tate is popular partly because society alienated men. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. That is what a grifter will see. And that's what we're talking about. You got to watch out for scam artists, because you'll see if something's happening and men are feeling alienated or something like that, there will be people who are legitimately concerned about that and want to help. So that's like your Jordan Peterson type, right? I actually want to help people. I'm concerned about people. I want to help them. But then you have people, here's a bunch of people who feel alienated right now. How can I work this to my advantage? How can I use their feelings to my advantage? And that's why you have to pay attention to people's motives.
I would personally disagree with that. I don't think that there has been any change at all. It's like, I don't know, the average masculine attitude is the very same as it was 20 years ago. Masculinity or manhood is the very same that it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
No, it's not. Are you drunk?
In fact,
a woman can be getting assaulted right on a train right now, and guys will not jump in. That would not have happened 20 years ago. Guy would jump in and clock someone.
It wasn't that different.
It was completely different.
There's actually the thing. If you go back into the history of writings or of reports of people complaining that masculinity is being stripped away, you can see that. For example, there's I saw an article from 1910 or something like that, which was like 1920. Now women are getting into pools. Masculinity is being stripped away, or something like that. Then you have similar writings from the 1800s. You have people 2,000 years ago saying manhood is going extinct.
Oh yeah, show us those writings right now.
I will show it to you.
Hey, look,
later.
Here, would you agree to this? Tate is popular because society alienated men. Would you agree there are lots of men who feel alienated?
Yeah, but there are also lots of men who felt alienated 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. If a bunch of men feel alienated, is that a situation a grifter is going to jump into?
Yes.
And say and use to his advantage. Okay, so we can agree on that. We're totally on the same page here.
I just don't agree with the premise, but I do agree that they use that premise.
Yeah, so I'm saying we could totally fix that and say Tate is popular partly because lots of men in society feel alienated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and guys, that's this goes back to what I was talking about with everything breaking up into separate groups that are all fighting against each other, everyone is feeling alienated by someone else. Every member of every group is feeling alienated by some other group or some other people right now. And into those situations, your narcissists, your psychopaths, your Machiavellians, or your sadists are all going to jump into those situations and make themselves the hero. Say in Russian accent, Andrusha Tatyusha. That's Andrew Tate in Russian. Andrusha Tatyusha. He trafficked the girls for us. Very good.
They are so beautiful.
Very good. Question for David. Tate is definitely a narcissist, yeah? Is there a correlation between psychopathy and being a narcissist? Do you think he's a psychopath? There's some overlap in the characteristics, and people can have multiple different personality disorders. There are even people who have all 10 of the identifiable personality disorders. So they have all 10 personality disorders.
It's a great achievement. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, based on just the vibe I get from him, I would say yes, narcissist, no psychopath. That would be my view.
But what do you think about his brother? Because I always feel like it looks like Andrew Tate is a narcissist, but Tristan Tate is antisocial.
Yeah, I would have to. I haven't seen enough from him, and all I see are these, curated videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say I get more of an antisocial personality sort of vibe from him than from Tate. So yeah, and these things, these issues are somewhat. There's a genetic influence, and the Tate brothers' dad was I think he got kicked out of the military or something like that because he was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. So, yep. All right, one more, and then we'll jump into some more Mike Winger. Wee! First time catching you guys live. Mike's a real life Ned Flanders, true, but I still enjoy his content. Well, yeah, you can watch The Simpsons and see Ned Flanders and love watching Ned Flanders. It's just like you can watch Family Matters and love watching Urkel. Doesn't change the fact that they're still like nerds, almost as much as APs and D Woods. Yeah, so. This is right. This is the correct assessment. He's a nerd. You can like watching a nerd, or you can like watching super cool, dope alpha chads.
It's true.
Treats the Bible the way he treats everything else. It's a tool he uses.
But guys, very important right here. Let me back up. This is what we're talking about, right? He's saying Andrew Tate. Why is Andrew Tate quoting the Bible to defend his view? He treats the Bible like everything else. Everything is a tool for him to get what he wants. Every person, every ideology, everything is a tool for him. This is why, see, this guy's a nerd, but he caught on to something here. So very important here.
Yeah.
Where Muhammad said he looked out, he had a vision where he saw hell, and he looked and he saw it was mostly populated by women. So,
imagine
that's not
so cool.
Christianity, man.
That'll be so
you
cool.
do your own thing.
I love thinking about.
So Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Treats the Bible the way he treats everything else. It's a tool he uses to manipulate other people, to give himself clout, to give himself influence, and ultimately control things. Yes. That's it. In the next clip,
absolutely.
Tate claims that men, with God's approval, can sleep with as many women as they want, while women, of course, cannot. So here's the clip.
Okay, so this argument is one I've heard so many trillion times. They say, well, if you can do that,
trillion,
why can't the woman do that? And I can answer it in so many different ways.
Give your harshest way.
I can give, my harshest way is that it goes against the will of God and nature. It goes against the way of man. For the longest period of human history, men had more than one woman. Every king, every sultan, read the Bible, read the Quran. In most of the world today, men still have more than one woman. Never in history, in any book ever, in any civilization since the dawn of human time, have promiscuous women been celebrated, ever. They have been frowned upon in every single society ever. So to come along and say a woman can do it too is disgusting in the eyes of God and in the eyes of nature. You can come along with science and somehow then try and fix it and prove it.
So God just wants the boys to just run through chicks.
God wants the warriors out here.
God's looking down right now and he's like, boys, I just want you to run through chicks.
God wants.
It's funny. I think this guy's actually like making fun of it. You're saying God wants us to just go bang tons and tons. That's what you're telling us, right? He's like, the warriors got to go bang a bunch of chicks.
God wants the men, the masculine males of Earth, to reproduce, create his warriors. God needs warriors.
What parable is that in?
It's Tate 15.
Okay, I'll search it up.
Look it up.
Wait, so
God needs
Book of the Council of Nicaea. I heard it from Sneeko.
warriors.
New Testament?
New and old. I'm everywhere, bro. I'm around. You should read the book, G. I'm in there somewhere. You'll see it, and you go, "That sounds like."
You,
Hey,
you
probably
see
wrote
how
that one.
he's engaging in a very simple fallacy here, right? Which is that he's appealing to tradition, or to history, whatever you want to call it, and saying, because this certain thing was done most of the time throughout history, it is the norm. Therefore, it is the right thing to do, which is stupid. It doesn't. Your conclusion doesn't follow at all from that. This is a fallacy. Plus, it's not even true, or it's not entirely true. You could say that it was probably men were probably significantly more likely to have multiple women than women having multiple men, but there were societies that were monogamous for thousands of years, and you had monogamous societies, I don't know, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, while you also had polygamous societies or others. So
But again, this goes into the atmosphere of ignorance that you're looking for.
Yes.
And guys, there's something something evil about it, but entirely correct. I called this. This could be Tate's version of the what I called the Islam's 99-1 rule. So the idea was, with the dawah guys, the idea has always been, if you just make stuff up and lie to 100 people, and 99 out of the 100 are going to believe you, and one person is going to go check and see if what you're saying is accurate. Well, who cares if one person finds out that you're a total liar if you just won the mob? You won the mob that can then shout this other person down or kill him. And so it's very similar with Andrew Tate. If you're just spitting all this nonsense to people and you're getting this crowd of devoted followers, then what happens later when someone comes along and says, hey, let's actually go through the statistics on this and actually show that what you're saying is factually incorrect. That person can
I have to go now. I have to go.
Yeah, the person can just totally get shouted down by the mob.
Yeah.
So, but no, guys, it works. It's obviously failing for certain reasons. There seems to be an ability, once we get into the social media age, of if you tick off enough people come at you and start exposing you, then you start seeing the dawah arguments collapse and you start seeing Tate's popularity decline. So people are catching on, but keep your eye on the tactic here, because it's a very, very messed up tactic.
Indeed.
Luke. Nah, that wasn't Luke. That was Tate, that one.
Oh boy. I'm not going to comment too long about this clip.
Look at him.
But let's go through some specifics of the things that maybe you wouldn't already know. Obviously, Andrew Tate doesn't care what's in the Bible. He's using the Bible for his own purposes. True. He kind of goes off the cuff and makes claims about it, and then they try to push him on it, like, what passage? Would you give a verse for that or something? He's just like, no, I'm in the Bible. I'm all over the Bible. And he what he does is, instead of giving evidence, he just makes an even bigger claim. This is an egomaniac on the loose, right? So it's funny, but it's sad because it's not a skit on Saturday Night Live, like he's actually doing this. So every instance of polygamy in the Bible that you could get any details about seems harmful. Even from the very first one, they all seem like they're in a bad light. They're negative. They're harmful. They bring all kinds of damage and trauma and issues. Adam and Eve, God made Adam and Eve one couple. That is the standard. Jesus, when he's asked about questions about divorce and remarriage, he appeals to Adam and Eve as the standard. Notice, God did not make Adam and Eve and Jeanette and Trisha and Bambi. he made one man and one woman. And that is the biblical model for marriage. That's what it means. The 1 Corinthians 7 passage, that only works if polygamy is off limits. If a wife has this sort of authority about sexual relations in relation to her husband, then he obviously can't be going around sleeping with other women. That would be a violation of that. They both have that shared claim on each other. And so his whole principle of like it's unbalanced, girls can't sleep around, but guys can. Now, what's weird is our modern culture wants to say girls can and guys can. And it's like, I don't know which one's worse, Andrew Tate or our modern culture. This is why some people like the guy, because at least he's pushing back on some of the problems of their culture. But they're both terrible. Modern culture is bad. Andrew Tate is not the solution. In addition to this, in Scripture, God forbade kings.
That's what you need the shirt to say. Andrew Tate is not the solution. Powerful, powerful stuff.
On some of the problems of their culture. But they're both terrible. Modern culture is bad. Andrew Tate is not the solution. In addition to this, in Scripture, God forbade kings. You know, he mentioned the kings of Israel that, you know, they all had like multiple wives. Like, obviously this becomes like their ideal men. Because to Tate, if you're a ruler, you're more of an ideal man because you're powerful. Because power is something that he's very much in love with. At any rate, that's not how the Scripture deals with these rulers. Neither shall he multiply wives for himself. This is something that God said about the kings of Israel, is that they should not do. It's a tendency of rulers that God actually says, don't do this. This is a bad thing. So Tate's example backfires there. Solomon, we know, when he had all these wives, he had 300 wives, and
I'm proud of that.
He sinned because of it. It led his heart astray. He was told not to marry all these women. He did marry them, and then it led him into major sin, not only with the marriages themselves, but with idolatry and all the stuff that it brought with it. So Andrew Tate would think Solomon was like the chief example. Like, the guy's rich, the guy's famous, the guy's got all these women, and yet the women were like a major thorn in his flesh, right? It was a bad thing that he married.
Yeah, if you think about it, given what Tate is saying, and you were thinking, oh, okay, if like being powerful, wealthy, and having lots of chicks is the ideal, like Solomon is king of kings on according to Andrew Tate. He was the total boss. He had hundreds of babes. Everything was tricked out. He was in total control, super powerful, and yet he's condemned. He's condemned in the Bible. So yeah, it does seem to be a conflict with what Tate is saying.
It's so stupid. It's like the Bible presents a narrative of certain people. I mean, even King David, if you want to take moments of them acting freely and gloriously and all of that as example of how to be, you could take his instance of slipping up and committing adultery and then repenting for that. But instead of the repentance, and instead of learning from this example that this is actually bad, you go to that terrible example and you're like, "Whoa, look at that! Wow, this is a real man. Such a great thing to do. I'm going to be just like that because that's what a real man does." Completely missing the point that this story doesn't serve as a good example; it's a bad example.
Indeed. Dreamcast says Ali Dawa voice. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought not, yeah. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you, isn't it? It's a Sith legend, yeah? Hope that helps.
Anyway.
It's just
AP.
fun.
AP, D Wood, ever heard of the channel Contraband? I haven't.
Contraband? No.
It's a good name, though. Emil said, to answer Chris Worthy, women in Islam are considered rewards and not someone to be rewarded. Commenting earlier on some of the people converting, Uthman got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy Royce Gracie converted. Yeah, I've heard about that. And that would be a situation. So you got the people who are kind of in a desperate situation. So that's your Andrew Tate, your Sneeko, your what's his name? Sean King. Will Smith hasn't converted, but if he did, he would be someone who's in this camp. And if you are desperate for some instant attention and victim status and a group of followers who are going to defend you no matter what, then converting to Islam would be a good idea. And so we're going to see some of that. The other situation is just people who are just completely ignorant of Islam. And so guess what? I don't know I mean, I know about Hoist Gracie in the MMA world, but not about his personal life. I would guess he's a person who has no clue what he's talking about. And if he sat down with a compulsive liar / manipulator like Uthman, Islam would sound really good to him. So you can win converts. These guys, the dawah guys, win converts all the time by finding people who know absolutely nothing about Islam and deceiving them into converting. That's why basic information and basic responses to the dawah claims have to become common knowledge. And that's why it comes down to people, all of you who are watching, learn something, share it. Learn something else, then share it. Keep sharing it until it becomes common knowledge. And you see this happening over time. You go back 15 years, no one, not even your average Muslim, knew anything about Muhammad and Aisha. Now, tons and tons and tons of people know about Muhammad and Aisha. Why? We were just relentless in
Because it's a
continuing.
romantic story.
Yeah, because it's like the Romeo and Juliet. It's so beautiful.
Hey, Willie said AP is a good preacher. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how messed up it would be if I was a preacher? Like if I was preaching regularly. Can you imagine how messed up that congregation would be?
Yeah, they'd be all screwed up, man. You do not want to go there.
Anyway.
I've heard this pronounced multiple ways, Qatar. They have that weird sound, Qatar. I've heard it all the different ways. Offered you $100 million each to promote Islam. Would you do it, AP and David? David would become Daoud.
It's Qatar.
You're an atheist. I don't know how you say no.
I wouldn't do it, but of course, it's what everyone would say.
Yeah, everyone would say that. No, I might take the 100 million and then just use it.
Flee the country. Yeah.
Well, it'd be kind of funny if I did something like this. Okay, I will accept $100 million to promote Islam. And then I take that $100 million and I fund every critic of Islam in the world for the next 10 years to be blasting away at Islam. And I'm just there going, yeah, it's true, ladies and gentlemen. Because of the miraculous preservation of the Quran, trust me. And so I promote it like that. And I would officially be keeping my end of the bargain while destroying Islam.
Yes. Me too.
Who would you like to have on as a guest, maybe for half the stream? What? We don't need any guests. We got the two awesomest people on the planet. Anyone else would just distract.
You did say that you would like to collaborate and invite Andrew Tate.
Yeah, Tate would be awesome. I could talk to him for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not a big collaborator. I've said before. I tend to do live streams with my friends mainly. Yeah. Let's see. Sid Dave again. Muhammad Ali changed his name from Cassius Clay, who was an abolitionist, whereas both Muhammad and Ali were slave traders and rapists. Yeah, I'm the one who shared that information with the world. I've
never heard that before.
D. Wood is the guy who literally broke that knowledge for
You should make a video about that, David.
I'll try. But Sid Dave somehow beat me to it 10 years after I did. All right. Back to Mike Winger. Hey, look at Mike Winger, by the way. Look at him. Just look at him.
All these ladies. Very bad thing. Did you know that in the New Testament, polygamy is even more clearly refuted in that polygamists it's said of polygamists, they cannot be in ministry. A polygamist can't be in ministry. A bishop or an elder, one of those types of people. Let me go to the ESV. I think that just to be consistent. An overseer must be above reproach, the husband of one wife. This, whatever else it means, it clearly refutes polygamy. You can't have 12 wives and be an elder, meaning that you're not the ideal man when you have multiple women. You are disqualified for ministry, and not just eldership. You're disqualified for like most ministry in the church. Doesn't mean you can't get saved as a polygamist. You can still get saved, but you've got major issues for sure, like many people do when they get saved. But 1 Timothy 3:12 talks about deacons. And it says, let the deacons each be the husband of one wife. Now, a deacon is the catch-all term for like everybody that's not an elder, but they're doing official ministry stuff. You just can't do official ministry if you're a polygamist. Oh, I married these 3 women, then I got saved. You know what? Your marriage life is so out of whack. You cannot be doing ministry. That's huge. This is huge commentary on the nature of these things. 1 Corinthians 7:2 also says this. Check it out. Does this make sense if polygamy is okay in the Bible?
Kind
But
of funny,
because
I
of
didn't expect him
temptation to
get
sexual...
into the practicality. It's kind of funny. I didn't expect him to get into that aspect of why it's bad. I thought he was just going to continue talking about how it's a bad thing, but then he went into how impractical and dumb it is. So
No, that's why we're actually watching this, because we've criticized a lot of the dumb things Andrew Tate has said in the past, but Mike Winger, as big of a nerd as he is, he's actually focusing on some issues that we haven't been focusing on, and therefore giving people more reasons to think that Tate is a complete clown and a scam artist. And so, yeah, if this like Nerd King, the Nerd King here, can spot how deceptive and manipulative Tate is, then what's everyone else's excuse?
immorality,
This
each
guy
man
has
should
high hikmah.
This guy, yeah, he's high. He's got high hikmah.
High hikmah.
He's got high hikmah.
have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. That only makes sense if that guy's only got the one wife. She gets him too. It's the same concept. Jesus was opposed to polygamy too. When he talks in Matthew 9:9, he says if you marry another, if a man divorces his wife and marries another, he's committed adultery with her.
That's not chapter.
That doesn't make sense in a worldview that accepts polygamy as okay, right? Matthew 19:9. I wrote 9 in my notes, but I know it's not.
Shameful.
And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife
You see, he's been exposed. Bible teacher exposed.
for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery. That is, you can't, like, if you can be married and marry another and that's okay, what would be wrong with divorcing and marrying another? Nothing. There would be nothing wrong with it. It only makes sense in a worldview where polygamy is considered off limits. There's other stuff I could say about this too, but we're going to look at the next one where Andrew Tate talks about his PhD course. Again, there's like mild language.
Ned Flanders. We got Ned Flanders talking about a pimp and hose degree.
Ooh, this is getting serious here.
It's about to get real, folks. Hide your kids. Hide your kids.
Warning here. I've bleeped out a lot of stuff that he says, but it's the nature of it. I'm sorry for those who are bothered. I warned you. This is not for you if this is something you're sensitive about. I'm doing this because there are people out there, especially men, who need to hear this as Christians and go, Andrew Tate is an enemy of Christianity. Just because he's an enemy of feminism does not make him my best friend or
Good point. Good point. He's an enemy of Christianity. Just because he's an enemy of this other thing that I don't like, does not mean we're on the same side or same page here. Very good.
This is nice. I always wanted somebody. I always want someone or more people to talk about this and to go out and address this issue of Andrew Tate. So even when somebody like Mike Winger, who is my natural enemy, comes out and talks about this, I appreciate this a lot. And
Exactly.
Exactly. So much praise to him. Although we would normally fight him, this is very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a dude I'd like I'd make him hold my jacket while I'm beating up some other dude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
somebody I should learn from. He's just scamming me. Like he's scamming everyone else. I'm going to build my little case for that right now. So here's his PhD course. This is what he does. He to do his PhD test, he'll take a girl out, he'll sleep with her, then he'll ignore her to see if she's a weak woman so he can control her. Check it out.
Gosh, how does Mike Winger know so much about this PhD course?
He studied it. He studied
saying.
PhD.
Imagine it's like that famous Chappelle Wayne Brady sketch where Wayne Brady, who's like the nicest, friendliest guy on TV, takes him out and finds out he's like pimping and killing people and stuff behind the scenes. That'd be funny if that was like, that would be funny if it was Mike Winger, right? Like you see Mike Winger behind the scenes and he's like pimping and yeah, I got my pimping hose degree right here. What?
TikTok.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is pimp and hose degree.
Clever.
And that
Clever.
teaches basically how I got girls,
Moron.
how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I
Hey.
got girls to fall in love.
Hey, how are there two Mike Wingers on the screen? Right beside each other. This is back when I was interviewing Andrew Tate.
Me to work on webcam for me, because that's what I
My hair was a bit longer right there, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen.
did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Straight street pimping is a completely, in fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same of what we're going to do. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you.
Guys, this is messed up. Like, he's saying, hey, I'm using the same skills, even though we're just getting girls to do webcam work as part of this game. Just keep in mind, if you learn these skills, you could be a street pimp as well. See what a great moral guy I am? Everyone, build your life around me. Wow. Wow. But keep in mind, guys, this is a guy who now tells you he's just in trouble for helping people, and it's a matrix. It's a matrix attack.
Helping people just depends on how you define helping people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You cannot get a girl to work for you. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
His PhD is his recruitment system. What the PhD test is, right?
Say it. Say pimpin' hose.
He should have gone further into that video. That video is a gold mine.
Say pimpin' hose. I think he does. Say pimpin' hose. Mike, say it. Say pimpin' hose degree. PhD. Don't just give the initials.
Takes a woman out. He sleeps with her. Then he ignores her. He doesn't talk to her for a period of time. He sees how desperate she is to reconnect with him after this sort of like cold shoulder treatment. And if she's really desperate, then she's showing that she's manipulatable. What is the word I'm looking for here?
The word is manipulable. Manipulable.
Really?
Yes.
That's a word?
Yes,
disgusting.
manipulable.
That's the most disgusting word I've heard in my entire life.
It's strike two, Mike. First, you got the reference wrong for Matthew 19, and now you don't know the word manipulable. Urkel would know that. Get it right.
She can easily be manipulated. And so then you go, I found myself a weak woman, right, who's attractive. Now I can start the process of slowly working her through to become a cam girl, where she's on the camera and I'm getting the money, and or at least most of the money. And yeah, so this is how he finds weak women. Now listen to how he talks about being like God to these women. This is okay. So in domestic violence counseling, which I did for years, this is what we call grooming. This is where
Interesting.
This is a very good perspective.
Yeah, I remember he did some sort of some sort of like marital counseling or something like that. But he's talking about specifically domestic abuse counseling. That's where you're going to have some guys with some issues. And
this is important because there are lots of people who listen to this, like even some people who might be listening right now who will think, what's the problem? You know, why are people so stupid to even fall for this? Or if they fall for this, it's probably their fault, or they probably asked for it and all that. That's not really how it looks. That's not really usually how it goes. Until you see it up close or you experience it, you don't really understand how people find themselves in such a situation. And Andrew Tate makes sure, and that's what he explains in his course, he makes sure to test the women and to find those that are particularly emotionally vulnerable and who have attachment issues, who were mistreated or left behind or disappointed or whatever it is, to then psychologically manipulate them and finally abuse them. You might belittle this if you don't know it, but humans can find themselves in really, really bad situations and might do things that you might consider from your place of comfort very, very irrational. And they need help. They shouldn't be taken advantage of.
And guys, not very long ago during this very live stream, remember I said be hard targets, be hard targets. You have I'm talking about for manipulators. Hard target is someone who is hard to manipulate. A manipulator manipulates because he is convinced that it is the easiest way to get what he wants. For a manipulator,
Mm-hmm.
for the mindset of a manipulator is the best and easiest way for me to get what I want is for me to dupe you into doing it for me. I get you to do what I want for me. So I sit back and all I do is focus on manipulating you and you give me what I want, right? So who do you want as a manipulator? Do you want someone who's very hard to manipulate or someone who's very easy to manipulate? You're looking for people who are easy to manipulate. And so when I'm saying be a hard target, learn basic manipulation tactics and learn to spot them and learn to not give in to them. That's what I'm sitting here saying. What is Andrew Tate's entire PhD course? It's finding soft targets, finding the people. What does he do? He starts dating a girl, chatting with a girl, dating her, has sex with her. And then the entire process is finding out, is she someone who is easy to manipulate or hard to manipulate? If she's hard to manipulate, get rid of her. You don't want her. Who do you want?
Mm-hmm.
You want only the gullible, easy to manipulate person. That's who you want. Why? Because you can completely control them. Interesting stuff.
Domestically violent, and domestic violence is not just physical violence. It's exactly the kind of stuff Andrew Tate's doing too. So it's the type of manipulative, abusive behavior that's meant to control and get her under your thumb, so to speak. This is the grooming phase. This is the phase where he's testing to find out if she can be a good candidate for domestic violence, for this kind of control and manipulation. So he finds that girl. Look at how he talks about what he wants to do to them. He's not looking for a healthy relationship. This is what he wants. Again, this is offensive content. Feel free to click off the video. I've got plenty of other stuff that has none of this garbage in it.
This test
Feel free to click off the video, especially if you're under 30.
was implemented.
If you've been through a war, maybe you can listen to this.
She passed it, and years have passed where I haven't taken her and I've kept a position of authority, and I've just become her idol in life. It's like trying to take God away from a Christian. They're like, well, if God doesn't exist, they'll eventually say, what's the point in being alive? What's the point in doing good? What's the point in doing bad without God? That's how your woman has to think of you. Well, without him, what's the point in doing anything? When you get to that point, you can do whatever the you want. I can I want because she ain't gonna leave. She ain't gonna leave. She doesn't even cry about it anymore. She's like, I know you're gonna do what you do as long as you only love me. Of course I only love you. They're just stupid hoes.
What he's just saying there in the psychological literature, this is called there's something called having an external locus of control. That's you as a person. Where do you view, what do you believe is primarily responsible for your situation in life? Is it something external to you or something that's internal to you? So whatever it is, it could be economic, your happiness or whatever. What is primarily responsible for your situation in life? Is it you? Are you primarily responsible, or are other things primarily responsible? All right. So there's that issue. And just so you know, viewing yourself as primarily responsible is way more psychologically healthy, because you could also view yourself as like the solution to these problems. If you think that you're just a victim of everything else that's going on around you. Now, keep in mind that it's definitely a mixture. It's a mixture of internal and external factors. But it's just once you view yourself as a victim of outward circumstances, you've got some problems because you view yourself as kind of helpless. A manipulator is going to train you, condition you over time to view your happiness, your situation, everything in your life is dependent on this other person and that person's attitude towards you. And at that point, you will do anything for this other person because your happiness, your situation in life are all dependent on this other person. And psychologists would be telling you how to avoid that, how not to fall for that. Tate finds the people who are easy to manipulate, and then he conditions them over time to idolize him. And then he's going to train other people to do that, because what you want to do in life is, I mean, guys, think about this. Andrew Tate, his PhD course is, I'm going to train you to find weak-minded people that you can condition over time to basically worship you as an idol. He just said it. He said he was doing that with the women. What does he then do with his fans all over the world? He finds weak-minded people, convinces them that as long as they idolize him, they're actually strong, powerful, good people. And then they fall for it because they are easy to manipulate. Got it, everyone? All right.
Yes.
Now to the counselor here, the nerdy counselor.
I'm sorry again for the content. I want to expose him because he's so influential. As long as you only love me, of course I only love you, he says. This is his conversation with this woman. This is the same conversation Tate has with all his women. No, you're the special one. You're the special one. I just tell her that to make her feel good, like you're the special one. He's found these weak women, and now they may be intelligent, they may be strong in some ways, but they're certainly weak in this way. He's found them, and he's manipulated them, and he's become like God to them. Listen to how he explains how he pimps them online, how he takes them and turns them into cam girls from this stage of, okay, I did the PhD test on you. I found out you're a weak woman. I've got the upper hand on you. You're controlled. You're manipulated. I'm God to you. What's next? This is what's next.
She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So I'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. Your ball, the new girl.
By the way, Tate talks about if the girl passes the PhD test. Just think about how messed up this is. Passing the test, like it's a good thing. It's a good thing to pass the test. But the test is how easy you are to manipulate. And the test that you're passing is you're a person who's easy to manipulate and dupe and control. And I'm looking for women who will pass this test. And then he's training people to also go out and find these kinds of women who will pass the test of being gullible and easy to manipulate.
Essentially, what he's teaching people is women are just possessions. You're supposed to use them
in the Bible.
Yeah, for a certain purpose. And we have this test set up that I designed with my genius mind, this PhD test. And you find girls, you meet women, and you put them through this test to see if they are good, if they're useful or not. If they're not useful, you will have sex with them and then you will dump them. If they are useful, you will have sex with them and then you will have them pass this test and then manipulate them further in order to use them as a source of income to make yourself rich. This is exactly what he's telling people. And nobody should at that point come and think, oh, I don't know. I don't see a problem with this. If you don't see a problem with this, there's something wrong with you.
Little side note, look at Mike Winger there and his blue cup. What? Come on, Mike. Don't make it so obvious sitting in front of your books with your blue cup. Come on, dude. Get a bigger cup. Get a bigger cup.
Dinner. Your bottom is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. My first girl was so good, it was easy. My girl would sit there and go, oh my God, before this I was a waitress and it was shit, and now I do this, I make so much money, and the guys all love me and they adore me, and on my birthday they send me presents, and I get so much money, blah, 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 and it's so much fun, and we stay at home, and da-da-da-da, martinis, bang, threesome. Slam them both, your ball knows.
Hold up.
Mike Winger just let this guy say threesome, bang them, slam them both. He didn't bleep out threesome. Come on. Look.
Hold up. As BM in the chat said, I think Tate is a secret gay. This is a thing that some people bring up, and that doesn't sound entirely unreasonable. Think about this. Just consider it. The way that Andrew Tate teaches about women, the way he treats women, he doesn't actually have any emotional attachments, any emotional relationships, any love for these women. They are just objects. He just uses them. He extracts, a stream of income from them. If he doesn't find them useful enough, then he dumps them. And why does he do all of this? He does it because he does it to make as much money as possible while having all those girls around, to increase his status and get cars and get wealth and get a house and get all kinds of different things in order to impress other men who hang out with him and admire him. And to basically show, hey, look at this, this is my status. How about you? It's basically, so women are an object, and what he actually cares about are just the other men that he impresses those women with.
And there are all those clips of him saying, I'm not even interested in sex because it just gets boring. It's boring with me. It's like, wait, banging lots of women is boring to you, and so you're just using that as a tool to control them.
He doesn't
he
doesn't want to have sex with them. That's what he says. He just does it to get something out of them.
Top G.
It sounds pretty suspicious, doesn't it?
This girl's like, okay, well, I'll try it. Put both girls on camera together the first day, so the new girl could sit there and just sit with the other girl and get drunk. Give them a bottle of vodka. Put on fucking chatterbait, 100 tokens per shot. The guys will send loads of money to get the girls drunk, because guys like drunk girls. Girls will sit there, get drunk, have a great time. You say it's your new job now. You haven't go to work ever again. That's how you recruit girls. You do not recruit girls any other way.
Most men look at a girl and they want to because she's beautiful. I will state with conviction, besides James Bond and Andrew Tate, we're the last two people on the planet who will look at a beautiful woman and think, I have to her so that she tells me what I want to know. I have to so she obeys me. I don't give a about having sex with beautiful women. I them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is
what
not
he wants
them.
is not sex. Ooh,
it's a means to an end. Every single Bond girl was exploited. That's exactly what I do.
James Bond was gay.
There you go. He says he doesn't care about having sex with.
He doesn't care about sex with beautiful women. Not interested. It's only for the money he can eventually get out of them, so that he can use that so that he can use and impress a bunch of guys and get Aiden Ross over there sniffing his crotch.
Yeah.
When I watch a Bond film and I see him basically pimp a, to me that speaks to my heart. I've been there. I've done that. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that I first made my $1 million with a webcam business. I have met beautiful women.
They got that music on there? It's like all inspirational.
With a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to this. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money. I am James Bond.
What a lunatic. What an absolute
look at Mike Winger. Let's take some super chats real quick while so everyone said that we want to give Mike an opportunity to recover from what he just heard.
By the way, do you remember how, for those who don't know, quite in the past, over the last year, we made quite a few live streams about Andrew Tate, and in some of those, we went through certain things that were leaked from his war room, and he was describing in one of those. He shares screenshots and other information, photos of how he manipulates those weak, those vulnerable women, and how he conditions them, how he puts them into such situations that they end up having no money and relying on him, basically begging for him because they have nothing to eat. They need him to send them money because he brought them to a certain location and now they don't know how to get out of there. And he shows this to his war room to teach the other people who pay him money how to condition and how to discipline this woman and how to treat her like a dog, basically. And he brags about this. He glorifies this. This is the stuff that he teaches. This is subhuman. I very rarely want to describe something as evil, but this is if there's anything that you can describe as evil, this is it.
It's pretty bad. All right. Raisin Bread says, Candace says she's a Protestant and seems to think Protestant churches teach LGBTQ ideology. Is this what happens when a Protestant marries a Catholic? I have no idea what happens in a situation where I don't know where Candace gets her ideas. And I don't know to what extent it is because a Protestant married a Catholic.
That sounds
What are
like
you laughing at?
that sounds like when you don't go outside and don't go into any of the situations, you just rely on whatever people say on social media, and then you think, "Oh, look what's happening in churches nowadays. They all teach. They have LGBTQ flags all in all the churches everywhere. They teach that kind of stuff to us." That's so,
Indeed. Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin. That's Hebrews 9. Leather straps. Why did you not put not safe for work this stream, David? Why did you not safe for work this stream, David? Yeah, I forgot because I always forget apostate, what apostate Aladdin would say. But yeah, that should have been not safe for work.
not safe,
AP really digging your MAGA stash. Shout out to our guy, Donald Trump, going to beat the charges. Well,
Thank you,
we'll see.
inshallah.
We'll see what happens. Chat GPT, David, if someone wants to be in apologetics, do you recommend showing your face or being a Christian Prince type of guy? That will depend on the situation. Some people might be in dangerous areas and not want to be recognized. Other people might be in a situation where let's suppose you work as a teacher and you want to keep your teaching job, but you also want to do stuff online dealing with apologetics or Islam or something like that. You might not want people knowing exactly who you are and being able to, because it's not just, someone might come and attack you. People find out who you are. They will stalk and harass you online and try to throw as many monkey wrenches around as possible. If you're in a situation where you are not going to be killed and you have a position that is not going to be in danger, by doing, let's say you're criticizing Islam or something like that online, then yeah, use your own judgment. The point is, you could argue this both ways depending on the circumstances. Any thoughts on that, AP? So should you be an AP showing his face or an apostate Aladdin? That's the question on everyone's mind.
Just be. That's all I want to say. Just be.
Now, I'd have to say there are certain people I wish would not show their faces, like Mike Winger.
All right.
Jizya for Mike Winger to put in the swear jar. That would be funny. That's what he needs on the thing, a jar. And he has to, I said, gosh, let me put some money in here. Get that to charity. David, this is to slow you down and make your video longer. Yeah. We go pretty long on our live streams.
By the way, since we're talking about, since we bring up Candace Owens and talk about her as well, after everything that you're hearing here and everything extra that David and I also described from what we have seen and talked about so far, keep in mind also that Candace Owens is one of the prominent figures
Main
who came
defenders.
to the defense of Andrew Tate and who lied on behalf of Andrew Tate blatantly and helped him clear his image in front of many people and lied about his legal status, about his human trafficking status, and so on. She actually, knowing what Andrew Tate does to people, knowing what he does to women, hosted him and defended him and helped him and still does.
That is a huge side problem right here, ladies and gentlemen. As despicable as everything Andrew Tate is saying and everything he's done is, Candace Owens, champion, conservative, is still continues to defend him. Messed up. Pretty
If
sure my
she's
neighbors.
conservative, then I don't know what I am.
Pretty sure my neighbors think I'm a crazy woman off her meds with how you two have been making me laugh. I'm also a proud wingaling. Then you're banned. Like Lily. No wingalings allowed. Pat the Goat, Stroke It, Touch It says, easier to talk to Tate on OnlyFans than his own war room. Yeah, that's true. But keep in mind, Tate's methodology, you're actually talking to one of the cam girls. You think you're talking to one of the cam girls, you're actually talking to Andrew Tate. That's one of the only, matter of fact, that ties in really well, right, with what we're saying. That he used to brag about this. These guys are sitting there sending me messages. They think they're talking to the cam girl, but actually they're talking to me. It's like, okay, what are you typing back to these guys, Andrew? What are you typing back to these guys? Oh yeah. Oh, you're so strong and manly. Yeah. Oh yeah. I just love you. Oh yeah. I want to move in with you. This you're getting messages from Andrew Tate. If any of these guys from back in the day when Andrew Tate was doing this stuff, any of these guys saved messages, you could actually save these messages and say, this is the stuff that Andrew Tate was saying to me, man. This is the stuff he was saying. Oh yeah, I wanna lick you, or I wanna lick you all over, and blah blah blah. It's Andrew Tate was talking to these dudes.
Hello, I'm thinking about you right now.
Thoughts on Myth Vision's refutation of you? I have no thoughts because I don't know what the refutation was or supposed to be. But I mean, we're planning on getting to it, guys. We're just in the middle of Ramadan. We got terrorist attacks over here. We got Candace Owens. We got Mike Winger here. So everything has to. Yeah, that's not okay. Like Candace Owens parting ways from Daily Wire. Keep in mind that's sort of a different realm, but this overlaps a lot with some of the stuff we're covering. The attack, we obviously want to cover that. There are several things that we kind of really have to get on, whereas the Myth Vision refutation to me is not exactly time sensitive, so we deal with the time sensitive stuff first. But yeah, we'll get to that. And I'll be happy to completely end that man's entire career. In your face, Myth Vision.
He destroyed you.
David, I want you and AP to start a gaming channel. I want to see you guys criticize Islam and then start insulting each other over Mario Party. Mario Party? Well, that's one of the games. I mean, if you're talking about like one of the original, I played 1, 2, and 3, like on the original Nintendo. That's my familiarity with Mario. But if you're talking about that sort of stuff, yeah, I could be good at that. The only newer games I know a little bit of Call of Duty, Zombie Mode, and Halo Wars. That's it. Those are the only things I know how to play on a new system.
That's interesting. I didn't know you know any game past Pac-Man or something.
I'm a machine. I'm a machine at Call of Duty Zombie Mode.
Huh. That's interesting.
Thanks for all the laughs today. Yep. Hey, Mike Dinger. What's wrong with you, man? Mike Dinger. What a lot of people have forgotten is that Candace Owens used to run a website called Social Autopsy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about that or what the site is about.
It was a website that she created. That's how she made herself a name. It was a website to dox people.
Oh, that's messed up.
That's how she started out. Yeah,
That's
she
extremely
created
messed
a
up.
website specifically to dox people who are, I don't know what the nature exactly of it was, and she was politically slightly different, but that's basically what it was about.
Ooh, that's pretty horrible. Muhammad Hijab, cue music. Muhammad Hijab. You don't know the song, do you? That's a Chuck Berry song. My ding-a-ling, I want you to play with my ding-a-ling. That was a song where he was just singing a song about a little toy called My Ding-a-ling. It was a little string with bells hanging on it. He called it My Ding-a-ling, but obviously it sounds like he's talking about his ding-a-ling the entire song, which made it funny. Talmudic Tunnel says Mike Winger has a tattoo of a calculator. Come on, you know this guy couldn't stand one, he wouldn't get a tattoo because he's too much of a nerd. 2, he wouldn't be able to take the pain. But 3, yeah, if he did get one, it would be a tattoo of a calculator. How can dawah be so dumb? That is the great mystery of our time, because it is not legitimate discourse and never was. That's true. It was only ever the flimsiest fig leaf over the implied threat of destruction by the many upon the few. In its entire history, it has never had to be smart. That's true. It doesn't have to be smart. If you're relying on either force through violence or deception and manipulation It doesn't have to be smart in the sense of actually being able to formulate good arguments. You just don't need it. And that's why you don't have that inclination in the dawah community. Every new dawah guy, it's like, how good of a manipulator and deceiver is he? If he's a really good manipulator and deceiver, he's gonna be a hero. Winger's favorite book is the dictionary. That's true.
So quick clarification. I just looked it up. I never really knew much about it. I only read or heard a little bit of it. So she was attempting to create a campaign, a website named Social Autopsy, and she created a profile for it and started a Kickstarter campaign for it, for which she got quite some funding. And I guess the purpose of it, as it was stated, was to tackle bullying and harassment by turning this into a website where people can basically dox cyber bullies and dox people who they perceive as harassing them in order to then socially kill them. So that was the idea of the website, but Kickstarter took it down because they said this is against their rules. So it never came into fruition. And she is often called out for what a messed up idea that was.
The anus is the pigskin of the tailbone. No, you're contradicting Muhammad. The eyes are the leather strap of the anus, is what he said. Get it right next time. Could Mike Winger be the new top G? No, he is the top N, as in top nerd.
Oh. Okay.
I made a PowerPoint about this, therefore I'm right. That is true. If you want to be right about something, get a PowerPoint. Saw the other day how the Dawah gang were joking with the Hindu
Why
waiter.
would you make a PowerPoint when you can just handle it in the easiest way, like Muslim apologists do?
Hey,
you just make a video about something and then problem solved.
Hey, you got all staticky again. What's up with that? Why is your mic getting staticky? Yeah, your mic just all of a sudden got staticky. What are you doing with it? Like, how are you?
How about now?
Let's hear you. Go ahead and talk.
How about now?
Yeah, super staticky. What do you do? How are you the only person in the world your microphone just randomly gets super staticky?
I don't know. I don't know how.
Well, it stopped, so you're good.
Okay, good.
You're good.
Funny.
So saw the other day how the Dawah gang were joking with the Hindu waiter. If I'm converted at gunpoint, do I become a Muslim without believing in Muhammad and Allah?
Yes.
Yeah, some of them believe that there are sort of signs of an authentic shahada or something like that. But given the history of kind of forced conversions in Islam, seems like they take it pretty seriously when you recite that shahada. I feel like there's a racial unconscious commitment. Not sure what you're referring to there. Thinko's scared because Wingaling is apologetics top G. No one in the history of forever is scared of anything with Mike Winger.
Wingalinga.
Joshua says, I love the Daily Wire even more as Candace has more than 30 bad takes in 1 year. I wish they would have parted sooner, and I am a proud Wingaling. Well, you can get nerd tattooed across your forehead if you are if you want to bear the mark of a Wingaling. All right, back to Mike here.
There's everything to hate about that.
Real men are Wingalings.
Yeah, said no one ever.
There's plenty of people who still think, yeah, but man, he's got good content. He's helping me. He's teaching me. But listen, this guy's takes women of weak moral character, turns them into women of even worse moral character, manipulates, controls them. They're partners in crime. He, of course, is the one who is the head in the worst sense. And then he puts them online. Now you might be thinking, oh, so he scams women. He scams women. That's what he does. He scams women. Andrew Tate scams everybody. Everybody, the men who look to him and think,
he only scams women. Who cares about
I'm going to become more of a man or a better guy. I'm going to become stronger and more independent. He's scamming you too. Nothing's changed. Everybody is the scam. Everybody's to be manipulated. He seeks out weak men the same way he seeks out weak women. He just looks for different kinds of weaknesses in men. And so an example of this is that when he puts these women on the cam girls that are taking their clothes off on cameras while people are donating money and stuff, he unplugs their keyboards and then he's typing in the comments himself. At least he did initially. Then he hired other people to do it for him, which I imagine. Now he says he doesn't do it anymore. Do you believe him? I don't believe him. Says he'll later say he makes millions a week. Like, do you think he quit his millions a week business? I think he just says he doesn't do it anymore. And
this is a Mike Winger conspiracy theory. I think he's still doing the, still typing these messages. Hey, oh, you're so strong and manly. Send me more money.
I suspect him of lying.
Separated himself from it, at least on the surface level. I think that seems to make the most sense. So I'd say allegedly, this is what I would say makes sense from what I see. But he unplugs their keyboards and then he's writing and scamming these men and making them feel that these women are falling in love with them so that they'll give more money.
Yeah.
This is the second to last clip. We're almost done with this section here, and then we'll get on to much more enjoyable stuff.
And here,
and he means like he's about to change the topic after dealing with Andrew Tate.
maybe this is a bit bad. Here's where the famoose would start. So it'd be good. Like, I had a lot of girls who worked for me, and the best was like the Ukrainians or the Russians. It was amazing because they'd get some guy, fall in love, they'd arrange today to meet. I need a visa. Okay, get a visa. I need money for a visa. Okay, how much is a visa? It's $900. No, but it's not $900 because I went to the embassy. They think I'm a risk, and I need a return flight there and back, and I need a hotel. I need to have spending money in my bank account. They won't let me come. Or how much you need? All right, 10 grand. Boom, it's 10 G's. Boom, thanks.
Wow.
Go to the embassy, take a picture outside the embassy, boom, come back. They rejected my visa. They said we have to wait 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, they'll give it to me. Okay, baby, boom. 2 more weeks of tips. Boom, 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 boom. Because now he thinks we get the girls. Now he's spending more than ever. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. 2 weeks come. Some other problem. Eventually, the girl, what she would do is she'd say, oh, I don't want to go embassy. She'd give a really lame excuse to try and provoke the man to get angry. So she'd say, the embassy want me to come back, but I have a headache. That was the one we'd use. He'd be like, I just sent you $1 million. You promised you were going to come, to make him mad on purpose, because that would annoy any man. And then,
guys, keep in mind the point of Mike Winger bringing this up is that he wasn't just scamming the women. He scams the women to then use the women to scam the men so that he can use the men to give him money. And how do you scam the men? Well, it's one thing to be putting tokens on OnlyFans and be paying in tokens. You want to get large amounts of money. You want the man to think that the woman is actually going to come see him and marry him and things like that. So, I need money if I'm going to come out there. And so guys start sending piles of money, but the woman's never actually going to go there. So what do you then do? Well, you eventually get the woman to say, oh, I'm not coming because I have a headache. Then what? I sent you all this money. And then now you use that. Oh, now you're you're scaring me. That's why I'm not coming to see you. And watch.
that's what we needed. We needed a little trigger. And we go, why are you being aggressive? I really like you, and I'm flying to the other side of the world by myself, and now you're being aggressive, and now I'm intimidated. And we'd flip it on him, saying, well, now you're being scary. I feel sick, and you don't even care. Female bull. And flip it on him. Flip it on him. And he'd get furious, because we were really good at poking him. Big beef, big argument. Yep. Big argument. But here's the thing. The guy would get pissed off, right, and leave, stop tipping her, stop coming to her. But for these men, that's the only chick in the world, the only hot chick in the world who talks to him. Maybe it takes a week, maybe it takes 2 weeks, maybe it takes 3 weeks. He's in bed at night alone, sitting there going, maybe she was going to come. Maybe I just got too mad when she had a headache. Maybe I should have been a little bit more patient and she would have been my girlfriend. And 100% of the time, in less than 3 months, they'd be back with an apology, a brand new pile of money, and the cycle would repeat. We killed the game. Millions of dollars a week.
Think about this.
That's the guy Candace is defending. But go ahead.
Yes. Think about this for a second. There are some people who, when they hear this, say, well, he's not scamming me. He's not scamming the average good guy. He's scamming people who already, were falling for that kind of nonsense because they're engaging in degenerate things and so on and all that. Okay, isn't Andrew Tate supposed to be the guy who helps people become better men? Mm-hmm. Isn't he supposed to be the guy who encourages and who helps people who are in that situation to improve and to become good like him? If he makes a business and glorifies this business, which consists out of exploiting and abusing those who are weak and who are sick, whom he is supposed to be helping, then is he really actually helping people, or is he just contributing to that very thing that he points out is the sickness in men? This would be like saying, "Oh, the worst thing is drugs. The worst thing is heroin. Can you imagine they're selling heroin to people? They're selling heroin to children nowadays, and this is terrible. I want to encourage everyone to not do heroin, to not do meth, and to improve their lives. However, by the way, I'm also running a business where I'm selling heroin and meth to those suckers who consume it anyway, and I'm getting rich off it." That's basically what he's doing here.
Yep. Pretty, gosh. Anyone who's defending this guy. Absolutely nuts.
Should. Yeah.
Would you rather be friends with David Koresh or Muhammad? David Koresh in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It takes real men and real courage to leave Islam. AP is realist among the reals. You got to make that t-shirt, AP.
Oh, yeah, I will do that.
Is there money in being a dawah-gandist? My mom's got medical bills we need to pay for. Yes. The Ummah is in a state of complete desperation. If you are seriously short on money, just become a dawah guy and convince people that you're going to save Islam from the avalanche of apostasy. You are good to go.
There are some people who did it. There was this guy who reverted to Islam, and then he asked people to donate money to him because his father is apparently sick or something, and he got like $10,000 out of donations over time, and then he left Islam later on, and then later he joined Islam again, and built himself a big following, and he's still active. That's what they do.
Smart. Little side note. So here, because Mike Winger was talking about domestic violence counseling and marital counseling and stuff like that. Who'd you rather have as your marital counseling therapist? Mike Winger or Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk?
Sheikh Uthman ibn Farouk.
Yeah, they've both played that role of, hey, I'm having some difficulties. I need someone to talk to. And so, some people, Christians would go to someone like Mike Winger. Muslim, you want to send your wife to Sheikh Uthman, who then bangs her and then marries her, even while she's still married to you.
Well, if it solves the problem.
Yeah, it solves the problem. See, they were having marital problems. Now they don't have marital problems because Sheikh Uthman is banging her.
Man, gotta love these people.
Candace Owens supports Hamas and Andrew Tate and now left D Wood. Oh, now left Daily Wire. Yeah, D Wood. It's funny we got the same initials. Yep, she supports Hamas and Andrew Tate and now left Daily Wire. David, in a recent Christian Prince video, a former Muslim turned Christian called and credited some of your videos turning him from Islam. Keep up the great work, both of you. Guys, we're just getting started here. Mike is such a big nerd, he would write his dissertation on the problem of evil. I know. He'd probably be like, I will address the Bayesian approach. It's like nerd stuff. Where did all these trigger warning announcements come from? I must have missed a live stream or something. Oh, yeah, someone's not in on the joke. What is this, AP?
What joke? What are you talking about?
Well, some people don't get all the trigger warnings announcements that are in the video and in the chat. People are posting warnings left and right.
Trigger warnings are not a joke. I don't know why you're saying it's a joke. It's not a joke. I don't know what you're asking for.
That's true. So what we can say is we were informed by the Phenomenal Council of Apostate Aladdin that we need more trigger warnings because people might have their feelings hurt.
Yes. It's not a joke. It's not funny.
It's not
People
funny.
die.
This is not a joke. This is serious, okay? I was getting drowsy driving home late the other night. Usually I would turn up the AC or radio, but for some inexplicable reason, I found myself shouting, "You see, this is the proof," repeatedly. That will help you stay up. That's true.
That sounds very good advice.
It is. The Quran shows you how to make bread. So it's true. Alhamdulillah, get wrecked, AP and D Wood. That is the good proof there. Thank you.
This is a
and
good point.
We know it's the good stuff because it's Sir White Meat of Zakir Naik fame. Ezra says, AP cannot refute Tater because he's a silly atheist with no moral authority. Ha ha, love both you guys. Keep up the Lord's work.
That makes sense. That's a good point.
Mike Winger, the king of nerds, Christian. AP, can't. The king of absolutely nothing, atheist. Draw your own conclusions.
You see? This is a good point.
Let's see. What's your beef with... This is from Daniel Hi, Kiko Pikachu. What's your beef with Mike? Let the nerds be nerds. That's true. We are letting them be nerds, but we still get to point and laugh at them. Meat Canyon's vid classic Tate win. Indeed.
What?
Don't know.
Yes.
Good
Indeed.
morning, wink, wink. Finally, I catch you guys going hard live. Long time no see, Mr. L. Hey, that's from David's. The channel's called David's Wood. Get a better channel name. Robert says, Mike Winger is just exposing Tate to get rid of his competition. That's true. They both seek
That's
out.
true.
They both seek out easily manipulable people. Are
For
we
different
due?
reasons.
Are we due for the second coming of Jesus? Joe Rogan certainly thinks so. I bet there's going to be some people who think you're being serious about Mike Winger. Ha ha. Well, we are serious. He's the worst person in the world. But he's helping us expose Andrew Tate, so we'll let him slide for this video.
But,
All right.
but you mean worst person in a good way, right?
Here's Mike Winger.
Millions of dollars a week. This is my point here is you need to see the whole setup, right? Everybody's there to be manipulated. And the way that he looks at women as find the weak ones, control them. He looks at men the same way. Find the weak ones, control them. They're all tools to build his little empire, to build his pride, to build all that kind of stuff. Everybody is a source to be scammed. And there's another scam he's doing right now, which is to say, hey, men, go to my Hustlers University website thing and you can sign up and then I'll teach you how to become as manly as me. And what's he doing? He's looking for desperate men who will pay him money to try to learn to be like him, learn to make money in all these different ways.
Smart.
And it's just another layer of scamming, in my opinion. It's just another layer of scamming. The stuff.
In your opinion, like, but you have to qualify that? Come on.
There's another YouTuber named CoffeeZilla who did a whole report on this. Hustlers University says, look, it's just low quality teaching content you could find for free online with this sort of empty promise that you're sort of getting Andrew Tate, but you don't really get interaction with him for the most part. Not that anybody should want that in the first place. Everybody is
Not that anyone should want that in the first place.
is his like. The way he scammed the women is the way he's scamming the men. The way he scammed the women through the men through the women, that's the way he's scamming everybody still. This man is a master manipulator. That's his whole agenda. The Bible is just thrown in there because people look up to it. So it's a useful source to increase his clout and his sense of authority. And if you're going to tell me, but Mike, he's the only guy helping me be a man. And I'm going to say that makes it worse.
Yeah,
that makes it worse.
pathetic.
You're not going to become a real man. You're going to become this like soulless entity that just looks around the world, seeing how you can use others to manipulate and control them so that you can get what you want from them. You're not going to become a real man. You're going to spend half your time telling yourself how great you are and the other half being a horrible person. Like this is... Cameron, calm down. He's playing all of you.
I almost said, gosh, darn it. Calm down, everyone. Calm down. Calm down here. I worked myself up into a frenzy. We're almost done. I think he's got one short clip left and then a couple comments.
He's still texting behind a cam girl, except now he's putting himself up as this macho man. He's the cam girl, right? For the guys who are interested in like becoming that kind of macho man.
He's the cam girl.
He's telling him what he thinks.
This is funny. I'm a super macho man. I'm Andrew Tate. And you're not the cam girl that they see, but you're the cam girl that's communicating with them. Andrew Tate is an invisible cam girl. That's what your hero is, all you Andrew Tate fans out there.
That's true. That is a good description.
According to him, he's a behind the scenes cam girl.
You know what's
but whoa, before this is the same thing that used to happen on like these phone sex lines where dude would call up and he thinks he's talking to some hot chick, but he doesn't know, you don't know who you're talking to, some 350-pound chick with a sweet voice. The point is, you're not talking to who you think you're talking to. But in this case, Andrew Tate is the person on the other end of the phone, but he's on the other end of a computer, and he's sitting there chatting you up and telling you how strong and manly you are and how, you know, what he wants you to thrust into him and things like that. And you're talking to Andrew Tate, the top G, this pillar of masculinity. Right, go ahead.
Andrew Tate is a super sexy cam girl. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, we're talking about the whole manipulation, master manipulator thing. It's not just that he is a master manipulator. He's not the genius behind everything. It is that there is a guy on his team who is credited as being the creator of his war room and the creator of much of his strategies and all of these things, who calls himself the magician. And he gave himself the name Iggy Semmelweis, according after that guy Ignaz Semmelweis. And he calls himself a magician, a master manipulator, and he is credited with being the man who started the whole idea of a war room and who also teaches Andrew Tate how to manipulate other people. And the guy is a really sinister, really messed up guy. Oh yeah, he calls himself the Wizard. Somebody just pointed that out. Wizard. So
the Wizard.
That's the guy behind
the
scenes.
You said the magician. It's the Wizard. Yeah. Get it right. Get your magic person right.
It's the Wizard. He is the guy behind the scenes, behind Andrew Tate, who teaches him how to do things. And so they have an actual system to manipulate people. It's not just something that Andrew Tate does on his own. It's really messed up.
Thoughts on Shapiro? Nerdier than Winger for sure. No, I don't know about that. Yeah. Ben Shapiro had a top rap song. How many rap songs has Mike Winger had?
That's a good point. Ben Shapiro is a nice guy. Very, 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 very smart.
Can you imagine these two having a discussion about like Star Trek or something? It'd be like the nerdiest thing ever. Like it would I'm talking like cataclysmic, like universe disintegrates because of the, I don't know.
Yeah.
In your opinion, as a professional, personality-wise, is the top G the closest to Jizya covered Moshizzle? I mean, they have a similar target audience. Let's just say, similar target audience. Michelle says, guys, please get Mike on here with you one night. He is so awesome. Oh, he'd regret it. She wants Mike on here with us. He'd regret that.
Who's Mike?
He might evaporate. If he came on with us, he might evaporate by exposure to sheer awesomeness.
That's true.
I know that you predict that in the future Islam will crumble from within, but what do you think Christianity's future generally looks like? God bless. I think people are about to have a much friendlier view of Christianity than they have over the past couple decades, because they start seeing what roles it actually played in society. But we are just at a different stage in history. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of atheism. You're going to have a lot of other issues, and I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable. It's not built into our minds that we have to control the world. So we don't get into a panic mode if we hear about apostasy or something like that.
See, that's your mistake. You're supposed to aim for the full control and subjugation of the world.
Indeed. Mike Winger is the new top G, the top goober. Yeah, you could call him that. Let's see, Shiba Inu. Actually, Mike Winger would likely get a tattoo of a favorite formula such as Euler's identity. Yeah, I don't know what he knows about math. You can't assume that he knows lots of math just because he's a nerd.
Well, every nerd knows about math.
Sheba's dog in samurai armor. Oh, that's a super sticker. Why can't we see the super stickers ever? I'm going to listen to what he's saying, but I can't get past the fact that he is a huge nerd. That's you nailed it. That's my perspective at all. I try to listen to what he's saying, but
Who's a nerd?
your buddy Mike Winger here. The Duke says Candace defends Andrew Tate because her husband is friends with him. They've been friends for years before he trended. Yeah, that is an ongoing issue.
That's an issue that has been brought up as well. Yes.
Joshua says, I first found Mike Winger, a Mike Winger video 2 hours long refuting Mormonism. And in my polemics journey, LDS equals 16 million versus Islam, 1.6 billion. I am a Mike Winger and D Wood fan. Sorry, David. Well, I mean, you can. That's like saying,
Shame.
That's like saying you like, I was about to say something like ramen noodles, but that doesn't describe him. So what would be like Mike Winger if Mike Winger was like whatever they eat on like the space shuttles? They have those tubes of like nutrient goop or something like that. That would be Mike Winger. Whereas D Wood would be like a delicious pan-seared ribeye with a baked potato, fully loaded. You know what I mean? But you can like both. You can say, "Oh, I like this this tube of space nutrient that they have on the space shuttle for a bunch of space nerds." You can like both. Just something wrong with you.
Or you could say it's like liking Mike Winger is like liking Harry Potter, and liking David Wood is like Godfather.
Like in the Terminator. Yeah. You can like different things. You can like totally. I mean, you can be like, oh, Urkel is my hero, and I also like this guy from the movie Commando over here, just crushing people.
Yeah.
I used to make Tate videos. God convicted me heavily to change. A warning to every young man watching: stay away from God and turn to Christ alone. Stay away from God and turn to Christ alone. What? What the heck? What is that? Hey, David Wood, there was an attack in Moscow. Yeah, we know that.
There was an attack in Moscow?
Yeah, we thought this year couldn't get any crazier. I hope this doesn't lead to any global conflict. Yeah, I think the timing was just stupid. It's almost like ISIS is just constantly looking for attention, and whenever anyone else has attention, they flip out and do something like kill a bunch of people to get more attention. But yeah, we'll be talking about that. The vid I commented is a funny vid that made fun of Tate and his influencer followers like sneakers. It's like 3 minutes, and I think you guys will like it. So that's Sir Dr. White Meat.
Okay. Peace.
Iggy Azalea or Iggy Pop? Iggy Pop. Although, if it's in Saudi Arabia, go with Iggy Azalea, because she goes there and twerks and tells them to worship the goddess.
Yeah, I would have to go with Iggy Azalea in that case, just out of respect for her performance in Saudi Arabia.
Guy with slight nasal voice, glasses, PhD, and thin beard makes fun of guy with slight nasal voice, glasses, and thin beard. I don't know. I'm not sure which channel you're referring to, but yeah, I'm sure you could find a channel like that. All right, let's get the conclusion of Mike Winger here.
They want to hear. And others would say, but Mike, he's changed. I mean, look again at that first clip I showed you. This is the moral Tate. Look how he says he wants to protect women. Look how he says he wants to take care of and have no criminal record, even though he just got arrested again, right, for sex trafficking charges. All these things are going on. And he says, protect women. I just want to be a man who lives righteously and protects women. This is a bold-faced lie that he says because what? Because he's on Piers Morgan. It's a popular audience. He's going to reach a bigger audience. He's going to tell them the things they want to hear. He's going to tell everybody everything so that finally they'll find a clip that speaks to them and go, he's not so bad. I found that one clip.
Yeah. By the way, what he just broke down there is, so he's going to say things that appeal to all these different groups so that when you find you find something is shared with you that you like, and you're like, wow, this guy's right on the money. And, oh, well, he said all this other stuff, but yeah, he's right on the money here. And he's speaking to me. He's my defender. My goodness, people fall for some stupid stuff.
That is true.
Oh, hey, we have here, because this person, being Christ-like, said, stay away from God, trust in Christ. Said, I meant stay away from Tate. Lol, whoops. Yeah, I knew exactly what you meant.
That's what I thought as well. But
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy when you're typing into chat to. We've
thank you for clarifying that.
We've all done that. So, guys, you heard it here. You heard the correction. Stay away from Tate. Turn to Christ. That is correct.
Yeah. Read Proverbs if you feel like you need to be a man. Read the book of Proverbs. Take it seriously. I didn't have a dad around growing up, and the book of Proverbs helped fill in a lot of those gaps for me about what it means to be.
So he had no strong male role model around him when he was growing
here
up.
You are mocking him.
Oh, just well, you have no idea. I was thinking, well, that makes sense now. Now I'm kind of a jerk for making fun of this guy. He had no strong male role model, so like, how is he going to know not to be a weak little nerd, right? I mean,
and now he's a good person who turned out very, very well and very respectful and very nice. Whereas you, on the other hand, are
who's respectful and calls his fans wingalings? It sounds like dingalings. Come on, you don't call yourself that. You don't call your own fans that, unless you're a psychopath.
Yeah, I have to side with the one with glasses in this case.
Yeah. All right. So he's breaking it down. Not having a strong male role model. Just because, whatever your situation is, don't fall for Tate. I guess that's the
man. You need to be told not to be lazy. Yeah, Proverbs has chapters on that. To not be a fool, to not joke around in ways that are dumb, that make you less of a person in a sense. Like, yeah, Proverbs talks about that too. It talks about being a man of your word. It talks about not being a man who's overly angry and who is easy to get angered. All these things that men do need to hear. That's in the book of Proverbs. Go to church, get into a small group, go find an actual man, a real man, not an influencer. I can't be your model because you don't know me. Like not really, not in person. You know pieces of me that you see online, but you don't really know the full me.
That's
you need
true.
to see me in traffic to know me better. You need to like have conversations with me that aren't about any of the stuff I talk about online.
Yeah, we need to see what's in that big freezer in your garage and how many heads you got in there.
To really get to find men to be a role model for you, they need to be people you know in real life. So that'd be my encouragement for you guys. Find real men. Get involved in the church. The church is the body. We're there to meet each other's needs, right? To fill each other's gaps. So go into the local church and do some actual work, finding some men that you can look up to and you can learn from. They won't be perfect, but you can learn some things from them, and it'll be way better than Andrew Tate. All right.
It'll be an actual real life man. It's going to be better than Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
that was
what kind of world is that? Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, considering it's from Mike Winger, who basically makes like the worst videos in the world, the worst, nerdiest videos in the world. They obviously appeal to certain people who like that sort of thing. Guys, I mean, again, it's one thing to like the Star Trek show. It's a different thing to constantly dress up and show up at the big meeting with Spock ears and your Spock shirt and to be asking all these nerd questions and stuff like that. But there are people like that. And so we have to realize there's all sorts of different people in the world, and some people will be drawn to that. But, given that it's Mike Winger making that video, that is, it was a pretty good takedown of Andrew Tate. Again, it was Andrew Tate actually but the Bible agrees with me. The Bible agrees with me about this. Oh, yes, God wants us going around banging as many chicks as possible. Ha, ha, ha. Strong men of the past did that, so that's what I need to be doing right now. And you need to be doing that. And to do that, you have to take my PhD course. Yeah, and Mike Winger pointed out Tate is treating now, guys, keep in mind, even before his reversion to Islam, he was using the Bible and the Quran to get what he wanted. Like, oh, here's how I am. Oh, but the Bible and the Quran say, no, they don't even say the same thing. But he would use those things. And then all of a sudden, oh, I've converted to Islam. A guy who's done nothing but scam people his entire life. I converted to Islam. And what did the dawah guys say? Our hero, our savior, he's going to save us from the avalanche of apostasy. Guys, how has that worked out for you at all? What has Tate actually done for the Ummah?
He's
Nothing.
scamming the Ummah.
What has the Ummah done for him? Well, I don't think the Ummah can't save him in this situation, but yeah, you guys have been showering him with praise and money and fame and clicks and so on. So, yep, notice what he did. He took advantage of you and your desperation to turn it to his advantage. Shocker. Who could have foreseen that a lifelong scam artist would have used that and would have used your community? Shocker, 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 shocker.
Well, what do you prefer, the Ummah or Uma Thurman?
Well, she's in some dope movies, man. I go with Ummah.
Yeah. I like Kill Bill.
All right, AP, any final thoughts before we sign out? I know we'll be back on your channel tomorrow, apparently discussing little
Candace. There's one good thing about Candace Owens, which is that she said something very smart, which was, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Yeah.
Oh yeah, Andrew Tate, remember? And I heard, and it's a great quotation from Candace Owens. "Blessed are the peacemakers." That's the guy who's lecturing people about the. I'm surprised. I'm surprised our good friend Mike Winger didn't comment on that, because that would have been perfect. Like, what is this? This guy doesn't know "blessed are the peacemakers." Are you joking?
Honestly, very nice video. So very, very good breakdown by Mike Winger. Very much on point. Lots of very important aspects addressed. After this, I will have to switch to watching Mike Winger and never again watch David Wood.
What?
That's now my preferred.
Good joke. Good joke. I'm gonna switch from watching David Wood to watching Mike Winger. Said no one ever.
No, it was very, very good. It was very, very well addressed, and I'm always happy to see somebody, in my opinion, do the right thing or do what is necessary and speak up against this stupidity and this evil that Andrew Tate represents and tries to spread. So nothing but respect here for Mike Winger's take.
Yeah, good video from someone who normally makes really, really terrible videos. Link to, did I put I assume I did. I would normally put a link in the description box. So yeah, but if you like that kind of like extremely nerdy content, if you like that for some reason, because again, I mean, there are people who show up at the Spock years and stuff like this. So if you like that kind of stuff, you can go over and check out his channel. He apparently has a series 10 questions with Mike Winger, so he answers other super nerdy questions about things, and so you could check those out. And yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow to discuss Candace Owens, and we already have here. Let me see. Woodians and Wingalings unite. AP watches from afar.
Like Jafar.
Yeah, I don't know how well we'd mix together.
Wingalings of the world unite.
Wingalings of the world unite around this calculator. And really looking forward to your canned ace expose, AP. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Inshallah, it will be good. It'll be good, inshallah.
Gonna be powerful. All right, everyone, catch you tomorrow on AP's channel. Should be fun.
Stay away from Islam.
And Andrew Tate.